What do you say, everybody? It's time to watch some Cubs baseball. Welcome to the watch party, our fourth watch party of the year. He's Anthony Pasquale. I'm Mick Gillispie. Get in the comments section, and we're going to watch some Cubs today. Becky, I see you there. Big news for the Cubs, and that was that Porter Hodge got called up and Colton Brewer on the IL. So the Cubs with another player going to the IL, and hopefully we'll see Porter Hodge and he'll do well. A former starter in the minor leagues, but he's been in the bullpen since the beginning of last year, and then this year started out in Double-A, then went to Triple-A, and now he's in the big leagues. But he's on the 40-man, so it wasn't that big of a move. Kyle Hendricks on the mound. Run through the batting order for us, Anthony.
Yeah, so the Cubs have Mike Tauchman leading off, Ian Happ batting second against the Pirates, who he traditionally crushes. Bellinger, Morel, and Bush, 3, 4, and 5. You still have Eminem up the middle, Nick Madrigal at second, then Mastroboni at short, Pete Armstrong's in center, and Miguel Amaya behind the plate catching.
Kyle Hendricks on the mound today. What did you say, that this is like the biggest difference in velocity? Give us the Pirates batting order, though.
Andrew McCutchen leading things off. Brian Reynolds batting second. He's in left field. O'Neill Cruz, the shortstop, batting third. Then Connor Joe in the 4-hole. Nick Gonzalez, 5. Jack Sawinski, 6. He's in center, the former Taft High School kid from Chicago. He has Monty Grandal, Rowdy Tellez, and then Triolo at third. And their 9-hole.
Second straight week that the Cubs have played the Pirates, lost last night by a run, and right now this Cubs team is definitely banged up. You know, you look at the team and it's like, man, I mean, you got a lot of like role players in the game right now, including Mastroboni, Madrigal. You know, Amaya's the backup catcher. Pete Armstrong, as much as we like him, I mean, he's a rookie.
I got an interesting question, or an interesting fact, I guess I should say, and I'll phrase it to you as a question. The Cubs have had 24, and Porter Hodge is now 25 different pitchers that are going to pitch an inning for the Cubs this season. How many of those were on the opening day roster and did not have to go on the injured list at all, or be sent down to the minors for poor performance?
Put that in a thing and throw that up there.
Okay.
All right, guys, if you're watching right now, McCutchen just touched the bat on home plate. He's holding it over his back shoulder. If you want to link it up with us on our feed, Kyle Hendricks is looking through the black glove over his head. Here's the first pitch right in there. Fouled away. All right, so there we are. So link up with us so we're all on the same. Good to see Naren, one of my favorites to read his stuff. Hey, let's go. All you guys. Great to see you, Jim. I'll try not to wake up the dog with a loud scream. What a matchup today, though. When you talk about Hendricks versus Skenes, you know, you like the professor versus the student, the hare versus the tortoise.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's the biggest, what we were getting to earlier, the biggest fastball disparity between two starting pitchers in MLB history. Obviously, Hendricks lives in the high 80s, and Skenes lives right around triple digits, as McCutchen grounds that one over to Mastroboni, and that'll be out number one. A good start for Hendricks, but yeah, you're looking at a 13, 14 mile per hour difference just between these two starters' average fastball.
Yeah. Are you what do you think about these uniforms? The teams are obviously the Pirates with the black jerseys, and and the Pittsburg across the front, Cubs wearing the beautiful pinstripes, but the hats are different for the special weekend, and they're black, and I don't know about those. I don't know if that's one I'm going to order.
Yeah, I'm not sure what is the occasion for the hats.
It's aren't these the Memorial Day hats?
Maybe. I don't know if the Cubs are going to be home for Memorial Day. I know that's not for another, I think, week or two, but they're interesting. I like the stars around the sea, as Madrigal makes a nice backhanded play, 2 dead. I like the stars around the sea. They kind of remind me of like an all-star type jersey. But I've never been a big camo guy, so I'm not a huge fan.
I like camo, but I don't know if it's something that I can really wear. You know, like some people I know I'm friends with, they'll wear the camo and it's like you can just wear it. But me, it's not a wearable thing for me either. You know,
I hear you.
I like it, but I always feel like I'm a fraud wearing camo.
Cubs playing O'Neal Cruz heavy to the pull side. He had a homer, I believe,
He
against
did.
Justin Steele the first time around. Also homered yesterday.
I think he got one off of Hendricks too, didn't he?
He did homer off of Hendricks in the series back in PNC, but Hendricks ahead 0-2. See if he can get out of this inning with a 1-2-3. Here comes the 0-2. Got
I
him.
love it. 81.
Ha!
Eat that.
We love it. Good 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Hendricks. The Cubs bats due up in just a second. Here's that question.
All right, here we go.
Out of the Cubs' 24 pitchers in 2024, how many players from the opening day roster are still on the roster and have not had an IL stint or been sent down to the minors?
Wow. Okay.
So, for example, like Luke
I got it. Like Javier Assad's one.
Javier Assad is one.
Let's just work through it together as a team here.
Let's see what we got.
Because I think the rest of the rotation hasn't, right? Neris.
Neris. Yeah, that's two.
That's two, right?
Imanaga, someone just put in. That's three.
Yeah. It's only pitchers, right?
Yes, only pitchers. Only looking for pitchers.
As Almonte, he's on the IL now, right?
Yes, he's on the IL now.
Little's been down. Mark Leiter Jr.
Yep. That's it.
That's it?
4.
Wow.
2 starters, 2 relievers. That's it.
Jeez. It's been like unbelievable. All the injuries that these guys have had.
Colton Brewer just added to the IL earlier today. You mentioned Porter Hodge back on the team. I think it's crazy that it's like no matter who they bring up, they get injured. And like Lovelady, he was healthy, but he got DFA'd. Luke Little, Squas, Palencia got sent down, brought back up. Now they're injured. It's been tough, but here we go. Cubs getting ready to get going. Here's the Cubs lineup. It's Talkman, Happ, Bellinger, Morel, Michael Bush in the 5 spot, Miles Mastrobuoni batting 6th, Nick Madrigal 7, Pete Armstrong, he's in the 8 spot, and Miguel Amaya batting 9th. Paul Skenes getting things underway with 99 just missing for a ball.
Look at him. He's like, oh, man, how could you not call that a strike? What do you think of his stash? Your stash or his stash? Which one?
I think I have to take mine all day long. But I don't have 100 in my back pocket. So
yours is more of a sweeper. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
his is like,
I could probably, if I really wanted to, curl mine up like one of those old relievers, you know?
Oh yeah, like Raleigh fingers.
Yeah, that'd be. I know I need to get what do they call it, like mustache wax.
Yeah,
in place, but I think I can maybe do. Probably have to grow it a little bit longer, but
I hung out one time at Cubs convention. There was 100 right down the gut, and he blew Tachman away.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I know he had a lot of walks the first time we saw Paul Skenes, but we might be seeing a whole bunch of 100 that nobody can touch today.
Well, with this lineup, I mean, you know, you don't have Nico, you don't have Dansby. I don't see Suzuki in.
Suzuki is out of the lineup. Horner's out of the lineup. And then obviously you don't have.
That's 4 straight games without Horner.
Yes, and still no IL.
Yeah, it's so weird. I was at Cubs convention one time, and they had like this room that everybody goes and hangs out at. And it was I was hanging out with Billy Williams, and Raleigh Fingers was there with Fergie and friends, and he had the mustache.
Whoa. Ian Happ loses the bat on the swing and went into the
Look out.
Pirates dugout.
But he's a nice guy. It was cool. And
he seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah, but the mustache was great. He was telling us stories about how cheap Charlie Finley was. And Bear Bryant's son got mad at me because he worked for Raleigh Fingers and he disagreed with everything that Raleigh Fingers said about Charlie Finley.
Let's take a quick look at the parlay of the day. I didn't get a chance to get more than one. This is the only one we got today. Christopher Morel to get a hit. Connor Joe from Pittsburgh to get a hit. The Cubs plus 1.5. Kyle Hendricks to have 4 strikeouts. And Paul Skenes to have 6 strikeouts. Good take there by Hap. Evens the count up at 2-2. Or excuse me, that's ball 3. 3-2. Full count here. No, that was not a strike.
Hap giving a stare down. We've had some really bad umpiring lately.
The home plate umpire
am I the
last
only one
night
that said that feels that way?
I would bet that this comment section is going to be in unison that these home plate umpires have been terrible. Usually when the catcher drops the ball, you usually get that call.
Here, I want to talk about this. The other day I had to watch the Braves stream and the announcers talked about everything but the actual game. I did too. I watched that too. It was that was Chipper Jones and Brian McCann. That was like a bunch of former Braves. And the funniest part about that was they were interviewing Brian Snitker. And that was when I think it was maybe Madrigal had a base hit to drive in a run or PCA or something. And
wow.
He just got blown away. One of them goes, all right, we got to end this. This isn't going well. Like we're going around the bases and they're talking to Snit, so funny.
Yeah. It's funny because they did that broadcast. They pretty much operated without a play-by-play. It was just a bunch of old players talking over a baseball game, which is kind of a cool concept, but obviously you tune in, you kind of want to know what's going on a little bit, but going back to the action for a second. Wow. Paul Skenes looked super impressive in that first inning. 3 strikeouts. The Hap was probably a generous call. Could have been ball 4 on the 3-2 count, but man, Bellinger looked overmatched. Talkman looked overmatched. 3 Ks early for Paul Skenes.
Paul Skenes is the real deal. I mean, we saw him, in college at LSU. He won the national championship last year. The minor leagues, he's one of those guys that didn't even need to go to the minor leagues. They put him down there.
Yeah.
What a weird first inning. Think about the first inning we just had. We had one guy striking out a power hitter on an 81 mile an hour, I guess, changeup. We had another guy blowing everybody away at 100, knee-high 100.
I know.
Crazy.
It doesn't make any sense sometimes, but that's why the sport is so awesome. It's just like you don't need to have 100 and you don't need to have 88, but both guys can make it work. And obviously you had a 1-2-3 inning from both guys. Kyle Hendricks with a strikeout. He was painting the corners. Paul Skenes says, here's 100 right down the middle. What can you do with it? And so far the Cubs answer is nothing. And you mentioned it, like it's such an interesting paradox between the way these two guys pitched. You said the turtle against the hare. You said old against new. I think on the broadcast, JD said smooth jazz against hard rock. I mean, it's so polar opposite, but it's funny how both can be effective.
Yeah. No, I mean that. Well, yeah. I mean, that is part of the game, and Skenes would love to have a career as successful as Hendricks, right?
Yeah, it's just it'll look a lot different.
Yeah, right. Like you Hendricks was never considered a prospect like Skenes. Look at him working around though.
Yeah.
With Joe at the plate, like down in the zone, up in the zone. There's just he's pitching a little different than he did at the beginning of the year. What do you think about that?
I agree. I also think we're seeing a little bit less of the fastball and more of the changeup and the curveball.
That's it.
Which he's been able so far to find the zone with. I think with Hendricks, it's always been about control. Once he starts walking guys and has to come in over the plate, that's when he can get hit really hard. But when he lives on those corners, but he's on the plate half of the corners, it's a lot better.
So there's the first hit of the game.
Connor Joe has absolutely murdered Cubs pitching. I think where's
this guy from? I don't, not familiar with him.
He was a Rocky. I don't know much. Honestly, I don't know much more beyond that. He's 31 years old. I'm pulling up the Baseball Reference right now. 31 years old, drafted by the Pirates in the first round of the 2014 draft. He made his debut in 2019 with the Giants and was average. Then in 2020, he opted out due to COVID. And 2021 and 2, he was a Rocky. He hit 285 in 2021, and he's hitting 285 so far this season for the Pirates. Not a whole lot of power, but pretty good contact, and he draws a lot of walks, gets on base a bunch. But he's been great against Steele. He's gotten above 500 career batting average against Hendricks. He's a guy that's going to be a tough out.
I'm so worried about this infield. I mean, I got to tell you, I just don't think Masterboni and Madrigal. I mean, when you got Luis Vasquez sitting in the minor leagues, why would you not just use him? You know, like I'm telling you guys, just like I told you last year about Pete Crow Armstrong, Luis Vasquez is an excellent defensive shortstop. Forget about the offense, which I honestly, I don't think it's going to be much worse than what you're getting with those guys. But the guy can just pick it, man. He's going to cover so much room.
I don't think, not to be rude to Madrigal or Masterboni, but I don't think the offense could get worse than what you've gotten out of those two.
I know. Well, they're exposed now. Masterboni's hitting 167. Madrigal's hitting 235, you know, and they're role guys. But somebody put in here, I want to see if I can find it because I don't want to steal anyone's thunder.
That's fair.
So I'm scrolling through the comments. You give us the play-by-play. How about that?
It's Gonzalez in there now. 3-2 count.
That was Nairn. Okay. Madrigal is one of the worst hitters on the roster, right? I watching him every day, the weak contacts, the weak contact double plays. He doesn't square the ball up enough. And then when you got a guy at third, he just grounds it right at the guy that's there waiting on it, you know, with the infield in.
Runner going, ground ball to short, going to be a tough turn. Runner safe at second, but they get him at first. So it just goes down as a 6-4-3 put out. The runner was moving on the pitch, the 3-2 pitch, so he got to second. Still smart by Masterboni, knowing he had enough time to turn it, even if they don't get the guy at second.
Yeah, clearly safe.
Joe beats the throw for sure, but the Cubs do get an out on a play. Now the runner on second with one out.
Joe's got that long hair.
He sure does.
What do you like better, Skenes' mustache or Joe's long hair?
I think the long hair is more of a better look, but the Paul Skenes mustache, I think, is a little bit more signature Skenes so far.
Jim says, I remember when the entire 85 staff was on the IL. We were talking about the fact that only two pitchers, two starters and two relievers and the entire pitching staff have been with the team since the beginning of the season. You know, good teams don't win because of injuries.
Right to Hendricks, looks him back. Nice job by Hendricks. That's another thing similar to Maddox. Obviously, Maddox, the best defensive pitcher ever, but Hendricks always fielded his position well. And that's a big part of it. Knowing you're going to induce a lot of soft contact, you're going to have to be able to field your position because you're going to get some balls right back at you.
Got to make some 2-out pitches now. Where's your bet at? You didn't throw the bet up.
I did for a little bit. Here it is. Morel hit. Connor Joe hit. That one just happened. Cubs plus 1.5 as that one's grounded to Madrigal. throws it over in time
There we
to
go. I'll
retire the
take that.
side.
Look,
Cubs
got a
bats
little
coming up
traffic.
soon. Morel's going to lead off. Hopefully get that second leg down. And then Cubs plus 1.5. Hendricks 4 strikeouts and Paul Skenes 6 strikeouts. He's already got 3 after that fiery first inning.
Yeah. So, all right. So Connor Joe got a hit. Christopher Morel's got to get a hit. Paul Skenes is halfway through the 6 strikeouts. And what was it? Oh, 4 strikeouts for Hendricks.
He's got 1 in the first. And I think he had 5 against the Pirates last week.
He feels so pitch to contact to me now.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been more of a contact pitcher, but when that changeup's working, it definitely misses bats.
You guys are still trying to get with us, and Steve, we do need to get some runs. We'll let you know when we come back in from break. So if you need to, kind of get on the same, know when we'll all be on the same TV, right? If that makes any sense.
Yes, makes sense to me.
Today, Porter Hodge got promoted to the big leagues. Dropped the video when that happened. So just check that out. Anytime we get like breaking news like that, we try to do it. And I'm excited for Porter Hodge. Jim says, if we ever met in person, the funny thing is, no, we just like with you guys. I mean, we just talked and stuff.
It'll happen.
Yeah. The magic of, of technology, but I've heard from him for a long time. He's good at keeping up with all of us. So when this opportunity, kind of came up, it's just a perfect fit. So we're really all excited about having Ant as part of the channel. What's up, Phil?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. It is kind of strange that we talk almost every day for like a half hour, but we've never actually met yet.
Pretty funny. All right, here we go. Set us up.
All right, Skenes misses with the first pitch inside to Christopher Morel, who's a little bit banged up, a few foul balls off the foot as he swings and misses at that one. See, the tough part about 100 or 98, 99 is if it's high or inside, you do not have enough time to catch up to the low and in pitch or the upstairs pitch, and then he'll drop the 84 mile per hour on you, and you'll swing right through it. Morel down 1-2. Here's the 1-2. Morel takes a little bit low. I thought he might get rung up for a second. I would have been very angry at that call.
Yeah. What I don't understand is, why are you going to switch? Well, I guess with Morel up there, you don't want to sit fastball, but man, his fastball has just been devastating. And Morel, I might have got away with one there. He thought about it.
Yeah. I see. I don't really know what the rule is anymore. I thought it was if the bat crosses home plate. Then I heard JD talking about if the bat breaks the plane of your hands, which doesn't even make sense. Another strikeout. 4 batters, 4 strikeouts for Skenes. Morel swings and misses there. And that'll bring up Michael Busch, another kind of strikeout candidate. I wonder, what's the record for most consecutive strikeouts to start a game?
Oh, I just looked at this.
I'm sure a guy's gotten through the first 2 innings before.
No, it's in the, I'm going to tell you guys, because it just got tied in the American League. It is, I think, 7, and in the National League, it's 9.
Wow, all 3 innings.
I think, yeah. I just saw this. I just read this. I'll look that up.
I'm looking right now. Mickey Welch for the New York Gothams in 1884 struck out the side in the first 3 innings.
Yeah, and it's been tied a bunch.
Blake Snell tied it with 7 in the AL a few years back. Here's the 0-2 to Michael Busch. Just misses. I thought that was a strike.
I saw Andrew Kashner, when he was coming up, strike out 7 in a row to start a game.
Wow.
The 8th guy had a weak pop-up out.
Here's the 1-2. Misses low. Good eye by Michael Busch, turning this into a little bit of a battle after being down 0-2. Busch, I'm pretty sure, leads the Cubs in strikeouts.
Yeah, how do you like that 96-mile-per-hour slider?
Yeah, it's crazy.
100-mile-an-hour fastball, 81-mile-an-hour curve.
Busch fouls that the other way. He was on it. He's on 100.
They can hit the 100. It's the slider, and the curveball for Skenes is just like a changeup. It's a changeup with movement.
Yeah, it's the ability to keep the hitter guessing that makes 100 so dangerous. Here's the 2-2. Misses that time, 83. I think that must have been maybe a changeup because the slider's usually in the 90s, and Busch has worked it full.
What do you think of this guy so far?
Here's the 3-2. Busch fouls it off. I've liked Michael Busch. I've been really impressed. I think early on, I expected him to struggle a little bit, and he has. I'm not saying he's been perfect, but the power's been there. He's had some big hits. He always seems to work at bats. I've liked Michael Busch.
How about him hitting his first walk-off in the big leagues?
Here's the 3-2. Busch fouls it off again. That was awesome. That was the game I was at, right center field.
Yeah.
That was as excited as I've been at a Cubs game possibly ever. That was rocked off the bat too.
It was great. And then, obviously him, the weather coming and then beating the storm, how cool.
Yeah. Here's the 3-2. Another foul off by Michael Busch. 100 miles per hour there. Working up Skenes' pitch count a little bit. Up to 28 here. Yeah, that foul ball was ripped down the left field line, but just a little bit too far foul. Skenes sets for the payoff pitch once again. And here we go. Swing and a miss. Michael Busch battled. He had the best battle so far, but just like the four players that hit before him, K.
It looks like when Skeen lets go of the baseball, it's like he's in front of he's a foot in front of you when he lets it go. Like his delivery.
Here's a pitch to Mastrobuoni, who, by the way, got 3 hits off of Paul Skenes the first time around.
Let's see what he can do this time. And looking at his batting average, there hasn't been a lot of those games.
Yeah, I think
167.
it might just be those 3 hits. Man, that pitch has so much movement. 1-1 the count. Skenes obviously looks good, but you got to give some credit where credit's due, too. Kyle Hendricks threw 2 scoreless as well.
I didn't even realize the Pirates have those hats, too.
Yeah, it must be. Maybe it's like Veterans Weekend.
Armed Forces Weekend.
Armed Forces Weekend. That's what it is.
That's what it is, yeah.
1-2 the count. Mastrobuoni in a hole. Skenes looking to strike out the side for the second inning in a row. Yes, he is, PST. Here's the 1-2. Right down the middle. Strike 3.
Wow. Did you see that? 101
with
and
tail.
It came in and then cut back on him. Oh, my goodness.
Guys, this guy's the real deal. All right. I know we've talked about it. You know he's a top prospect. This guy, he's going to be good for a long time. This guy, this is something else, man.
But it's only the third. We're only heading into the third inning. I mean, but what an impressive display. That's what you get when you're a perennial loser. You get to pick guys like that,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Obviously, the Pirates hope that they're on the right direction now, and Paul Skenes is going to be a big part of that.
So did he just hit the parlay? Yeah.
Yeah, that leg is done in 2 innings.
That's so funny. All right, well, put a check next to that. 6 up, 6 down, strikeouts.
Yeah, we got a Paul Skenes check, Connor Joe check. Need Hendricks to get a few whiffs and a Morel hit, and then the Cubbies to keep it close.
What do you think's going on with Morel right now? I mean, I know it's the foot, right? I mean, he's dealing with that toe. I mean, it's got to be, right?
It's the foot, and it's just knowing that he's going to be the type of guy that is going to hit a home run or strike out a lot of times. Like, that's just, I mean, he sells out on every pitch, and There's a reason he's ranked near the top in the big leagues in terms of bat speed. It's because he swings his hardest at every pitch. He's not going to get cheated on any swing there. And sometimes you just sometimes you just miss the ball, and that's going to happen with Morel a lot. I saw it up here. I got to scroll up and find it because I don't want to steal anybody's thunder before we talk about it. But one guy I am a little bit worried about. I'm still looking here. Let's see. All right. I can't find it. I know one of you guys asked this. Here we go. Justin Steele keeps giving up homers. I'm a little worried about him.
Well, dude, I mean,
I know it's early.
This is spring training for him, though. He hasn't pitched that much. He's coming back from that injury. I'm not that worried about it. Just left some pitches over the plate. He's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, I love Steele. I'm very confident that he'll turn things around. But when your misses are leaving the ballpark, that's always something that's concerning.
Yeah, it sucks that he's been part of the injury wagon. Oh, that ball that's called ladled right there.
Yeah, Rowdy Tellez just served it up over.
Look at the size of that guy.
Former Brewer, I think.
Yeah, he looks like he's scooped a few things out of the ladle.
Yeah.
He can hit, though. He's not quite Dan Vogelback. Remember him?
Yeah. Another former, he was in the Cubs system.
Jim's saying the scary things we got to face him like 4 times this year.
Well, yeah, it felt intentional that he made his debut against the Cubs, and then next time around he'd also pitch against the Cubs. But yeah, he's going to be a guy you're going to face like 3-4 times a year for like the next 10, and you're not going to like it.
So we'll bring this back during the break because this is a good conversation. I mentioned
it a little bit earlier in the week. That's a good talking point, I think.
Yeah, we'll get back. We'll bring that right back up during the break. Hendricks is just not. He's trying to nip the corners, but he's just, instead of being on the corner, they're always just like a touch off, and he's not getting the swings. But then again, he's ahead, so it's a good place to miss.
The 1-2, that one ripped down the left field line, way out of here. 2-run shot for Triolo puts the Pirates on the board. That's
what's why you worry about Hendricks right there. You're ahead 0-2. You try to sneak a pitch up in the zone and you leave it out over the plate. And that, looked like he just clubbed it.
Yeah, at first I thought it was just going to be a pop-up because it looked like he got jammed a little bit, but that changeup really didn't dive. It kind of just slid up there, and Triolo was able to turn on it and throw it up in the seats.
Man.
So back to a fresh inning. Nobody on, nobody out. 2 runs in on the Triolo homer, brings up the top of the order, and Andrew McCutchen, who takes a strike.
Do you think? I think he missed location with it. You don't want to leave
sure.
it. You don't want to throw a changeup that's up and in.
Yeah, you definitely missed a spot there.
Oh my goodness, that's where you want it right there.
How about? Did you see? I think this is a really cool
tip away.
Yeah, I think this is a really cool fact about the Skenes debut. Andrew McCutchen led off for the Pirates when Steven Strasburg debuted, I think in 2012. And he also led off for the Pirates when Paul Skenes debuted. He's been their leadoff hitter for both of those games.
Really?
Because the Strasburg debuted against the Pirates. So he's part of both of those big debuts.
McCutchen hanging in there, man.
Yeah, Hendricks buried another changeup. I think he's not going to leave it up anymore. 2 balls, 2 strikes to McCutchen. And the 2-2 dribbled foul.
It just feels like it's so hard right now. Bleacher Nation. Truly an awful pitch there from Hendricks. A little too hard. Mediocre movement. Definitely too high. And completely missed east and west. Every element was bad.
Called strike 3 there for Hendricks. That's number 2.
That's so true.
McCutcheon
I hate
looking.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just for lack of a better term, it's just a bad pitch. And the hitter did exactly what he's supposed to do.
God, that sucks. Oh, well.
Brian Reynolds fouls that one away. Only 4 pitchers ever have had an inning with 3 strikeouts that were all on 100 miles per hour pitches or more, or starting pitchers, I should say. Today, Paul Skenes, Bobby Miller last year, and Hunter Green from the Reds did it twice.
Hunter Green's like, he reminds me of Nolan Ryan, man. I mean, just that consistent pop.
Mastrobuoni with a nice play over there. I got to say, I know Luis Vasquez is going to be better defensively, but Madrigal has not been bad.
Yeah.
I've been pretty impressed with him defensively.
He just looks so awkward. I don't know, when he's moving near the bag and stuff. There's just nothing fluid about it. It just seems like it's pretty choppy. But, I mean, who knows?
First pitch to O'Neal Cruz, a curveball at the top of the zone. And he pulls that one to Michael Busch, who flips it over to Hendricks to retire the side. Middle of the third, Pirates get on the board with a 2-run shot from Triolo, and they lead it 2-0. Let's get into that trade.
Yeah, let's talk about the trade, and then we'll talk some more Hendricks, because I thought this was a good question. All right, last night I saw a mock trade. Kevin Alcantara, Owen Casey, and James Triantos for Mason Miller. Give us you tell us about Mason Miller. I'll talk about the 3 prospects.
Yeah, Mason Miller has been the kind of bright spot for the Oakland A's over the last 2 seasons, but really this season he's emerged as one of the best closers in baseball. He's got a 1.3 WAR already in only 18 innings pitched so far. He's got 38 strikeouts, a 0.98 ERA. He's got Paul Skenes stuff. It's over 100 every time he throws it, and then he drops in that devastating breaking pitch. He's been closing really well so far for the A's, and he could kind of be that answer for the back end of the Cubs bullpen. But just looking at this mock trade, it feels like too much to give up, I would say. But you know these guys a little bit better, so what's your take on these 3 players?
All right, let me break down the guys for you. First, Kevin Alcantara, got him from the Yankees in the Rizzo trade. Big, tall, long, lanky kid with an ability to make contact for a big guy. Which is really amazing to me, but he's really able to inside out the inside pitches, go the other way, uses the whole field. Defensively, he's no Pete Crow Armstrong, but he makes the plays, doesn't always look fluent doing it, but he's not a bad outfielder. I'd say that when he grows into his athletic body, he has the potential to be a very good power hitter, a very aggressive hitter at the plate. Owen Casey is, I don't think you can trade him. I think that he is an everyday big league star outfielder, and probably in right field. He's better defensively than Seiya Suzuki. He's sneaky good defensively, great arm, smart kid. For a 22-year-old, he acts like he's 40. At the plate, he barrels up a lot of pitches and hits a lot for power already. He is a superstar in the making. I would not trade him. And then James Triantos is a hit machine. He just barrels everything up. More of like a table setter defensively. He's okay, but his special power is that he just gets the ball in the bat and can hit a lot. I think he would be a really good Oakland A type of player, but I can't do this trade if you're giving up Owen Casey. This is the stuff that the Dodgers don't do, and the reason why the Dodgers stay at the top is that they're not trading Owen Casey. Mason Miller would be great, and maybe you throw somebody else in there. The other part of that is that the A's aren't going to make this trade without a pitcher involved. Anytime you trade a pitcher, you get a pitcher back in that deal. So maybe you throw a pitcher in instead of Casey. The problem is I don't know that the Cubs have a lot of prospect pitchers, and you're not trading Cade Horton, although he did get hit around again yesterday.
Yeah, I will say I saw a little bit of stats on Cade Horton. All of the hits were below 85 miles per hour on exit velo, so he just got really unlucky. But I was reading a lot of what Alex Cohen had to say, and the stuff was apparently as good as it's been. Going back to that trade, I think in Alcantara, wow, Madrigal blown away. 7 strikeouts to open the game for Paul Skenes.
It's like Kerry Wood.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be on
the Astros.
Yeah, you got to be on 20 strikeout watch already.
Man.
But back to the trade, I think Alcantara and Triantos is a good start for a package. And then I think maybe throwing in maybe like Hayden Wesneski or Jordan Wicks even potentially.
Forgot about Jordan Wicks because he's been injured. Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to Casey, because I think Casey, Pete Crow, and Cade Horton are the 3 guys that are kind of untouchable in the Cubs system. Pete Crow, put a ball in play, baby.
Oh,
I don't even care. At least he put the ball in play.
He must have made a joke. Pete hustles, and I love that about him. Oh, Hollywood. He's just going to make every play interesting because he's going to just fly up the line. That's part of of his game. And Rowdy over there, looked like he was trying to get the free breadsticks with the pizza.
That'll bring up Miguel Amaya hitting 182 on the season. Takes the first pitch up high for a ball. Yeah, I think Casey, you just mentioned PCA, and I think Cade Horton are guys the Cubs just wouldn't trade. So I think a package would start maybe with Alcantara or Canario, maybe include Triantos, and then like a Wesneski or a Ben Brown type of guy, or not Ben Brown, excuse me, Wesneski or like Jordan Wicks, something like that, and see if that's enough to get it done.
Here's the problem that Theo left the Cubs with. He traded away all of the very, very top end prospects and left the Cubs with a hole that they couldn't fill. And then he rolled out, and then, Jed has had to go back and fill that hole in. And if the Cubs want to be a perennial winner, when Tom Ricketts bought the team, he said, hey, we're going to do this, right? We're going to build within our farm system. You can't build and then trade away your best guys. You can trade some of them away, but you got to keep some of those guys too. And, you got to be smart about it. Like look at the Atlanta Braves or look at the Oakland A's. When you make a trade with them, most of the time, they know exactly what you're getting. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're trading away Fernando Tatis Jr. or something. They just know what they have. And great organizations that way. Sometimes, but great organizations also are going to have players that they can't find a spot for because there's other, good players in those areas. But I'm a big believer in Owen Casey. And I just don't think that I think that the Cubs have a real gem with him. And I think they knew it when they got him. They traded Yu Darvish to the Padres to get him. And he's turned out to be everything and more. He's a 3-4 guy that legitimately is a threat every time he's up.
Yeah, and when that trade was made, he was 18 or 19. That's really good level scouting and projecting by the Cubs. Dodgers, Braves, Tampa always seem to win their trades. I'm interested to see who Tampa got back from the Glasnow deal and how they're going to end up pitching in Tampa Bay. I actually was listening to Glasnow's appearance on Justin Steele's podcast, and they were chopping it up about pitching. And Justin Steele asked Tyler Glasnow, what was the big difference between the Pirates, the way they handled things, the way the Rays handled things, and the way the Dodgers have handled things so far. And he was like, well, when I went to the Pirates, they pretty much were not an analytical team. They said, go out there, don't give up home runs. And obviously I tried not to, but I wasn't as good. Then when I got to Tampa, they dove into all the analytics. You're a cut spin type of pitcher, so you want to always throw the ball inside and keep it low, elevated against righties, like all these different things. And Glass now emerged as this, Cy Young type of candidate. And then he went over to the Dodgers, which he's been pitching this year, stellar. I think he's 6-1, leading the league in strikeouts, I want to say. And he said the Dodgers basically told him, stop throwing a 4-seam fastball, only throw your 2-seam, because it adds movement away from hitters instead of 2 hitters like all your other pitches do. And then all of a sudden, Glass now is, a Cy Young contender. He's probably right up there with Immaculate for the best pitching acquisitions over the offseason.
All right, here we go. Hendricks trying to get that first out. This has been a bad, when he hasn't done well, it's been the second time through the lineup, third time through the lineup.
Absolutely. Grounded to Madrigal, makes a nice play on the glove side. Flips it over to first in time for out number 1. Excuse me, Mastroboni, not Madrigal. Good play there.
Yeah, you said Madrigal earlier today, and I think you meant Mastroboni.
Yes,
the M's.
Yeah, the M&Ms, getting them all jumbled in my head, but he's been pretty good defensively over there. Hendricks just misses with that one.
Yeah, it's one of those things like these games get rolling through, first time through the lineup. Right now, the hare leads the tortoise, but this is a long race. And I feel like we still have a long way to go.
Another bat flies out of the hand on a swing. This time Gonzalez lets it rip.
He said, ran lit. That's funny. Not enough variation between fastball and changeup. And I mean, I think this is his last year in his contract, and there's no chance that they're going to bring Hendricks back, And it used to be so easy for him. He just made it look easy, and for whatever reason this year, it looks so hard out there. Like it just feels like every mistake just gets clubbed,
Yeah.
Not that he made many mistakes. I mean, he threw the best bullpen of any pitcher that's ever come through here. See, there you go. I mean, it's like they're just out over the plate, and these guys don't miss them.
Yeah, that one dropped into the corner. Gonzalez in with a double.
Just right up in the zone, and it's like, it's almost like batting practice.
Yeah, it is. And because it's coming in at 88 with not a whole lot of movement, it's if you miss over the heart of the plate, it's going to get hit hard every time.
And it's that changeup again, too. Where do you think he wants that pitch? He can't want that thing right up in the middle of the plate like that.
No, you either want it low or on the corner. Like that one was perfect.
It. Yeah. It's like he just threw it too hard or something.
Here's Jack Sawinski, the Chicago native, went to Taft High School, which if I have my windows open, I can hear what's going on at that school. It's very close to my house. Or I should say when they have football games, I can hear it. I
can't the band.
Can't hear what's going on at the school. But yeah, the band or the music that they play over the speakers. 1-1 to Swinsky. Takes just off the outside for ball number 2. Hendricks up at 50 pitches, allowed 2 runs so far. There's a runner on second that he also has to worry about. We're in the top of the 4th. We've got some this day in Cubs history to get to.
Oh, nice.
And then I figured maybe in the 5th we can do a little Immaculate grid action.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I love that. I love this date in Cubs. I want you to put it up there so I can chew on it with everyone.
Sure. I've got 2 of them.
Oh, good. That's even better. Double the fun.
Yes, May 17th is a big day. I saw them both on Twitter as well.
There you go.
Hendricks. Little punch out there. That's 3 for Hendricks.
How about when you get struck out at like 80? You know?
Yeah. Throw this back up there. We need Cubs to keep it closer than the 2 runs, obviously. Hendricks for 1 more strikeout and Morel for a knock. As Yasmani Grandal steps in. He had the big hit in one of the Cubs games at Pittsburgh. A 3-run homer, I believe, in that Skenes start, that after he got pulled, the Cubs had 6 straight walks, bases loaded walks, and then Grandal put the Pirates ahead. And he has a big swing and a miss at that changeup in the dirt for strike 2, 0-2.
The problem that the Cubs have is that they've lost too many of those games. You know, you come back, you're down big, you come back, you get the lead, you got a multiple run lead, and you just find a way to lose, you know, and it's the bullpen to me. I mean, like, and we all know that the bullpen is just not that good right now. But there, I can count, like, just off the top of my head, 5 of those without even really digging too far to think about it.
I agree, but also to be fair, going back to that Steele Skenes start, it's going to be hard to win a game when your ace and Justin Steele gives up 6. You know what I mean? Like that's always tough. Also, I saw a stat yesterday. Sam Olber, who I think is one of the Locked On Cubs guys, he tweeted that dating back to last year, as that one's flared into shallow left, and that run is going to score. Ian Happ couldn't get to the line in time. It's an RBI single for Yasmani Grandal. Another one not hit very hard. 66.9 miles per hour off the bat. That's just a tough break.
Well, you say that, but at the same time, I mean, when you're not throwing hard, I mean, you know, you got to slow your bat down and just make contact, you know, and it's a hit. You know, I mean, like he throws it so slow that they can pretty much aim the ball where they want it to go. Like they could put a bucket in they could put a bucket in left field and hit it in there, you know, like it's as much as sad as it is, it's just, we're getting to the end of a great career here, you know, and it just doesn't have it anymore. Like the problem is that the mistakes they're just hammered. And as good of a guy as Kyle is, man, he's just not good, man. I mean, it's just not good enough. It's like slow pitch softball. Let's put a keg at second base. What if we put a keg at second base? Everyone, what kind of beer would you have in the keg? See, I think you got to go something light. I'd say a really good, like, you know, like a light, like a Mick Ultra. Great name. Beer League. You know about Beer League? Anthony? I think we might have just froze Anthony out. All right. You guys tell me, though. Yeah, and I know they paid him $16 million, and it's not turning into a good investment right now. And if the Cubs aren't, here's Tellez right now. If they're not careful, this could be a big inning. You know, and I feel like we're kind of like right on the verge of it getting away. I mean, it's 3-0. And it just feels like there's some big pitches. He's got to get out of this inning. And they just keep fouling him off. Like it's if you see what I'm saying, it's so hard for him to get that strikeout pitch. Brian says old style. That'd be a Cubs beer right there, Brian. I'll tell you. I just look. I know the legend of old style. There's a base hit. Okay. And again, like had him where he wanted him and didn't finish it off. I'm just not I don't know. Like old style doesn't taste good to me. I'll drink anything. Trust me. Especially if Brian, if you're paying, if it's your keg, I'll drink it. Oh man. So Conference out on the mound. And he's probably just like, man, we got just get out of this inning. The last thing we need is for the bullpen to basically have to come into this game early. Tommy Hotovy, though, he's a good pitching coach. I really do like him, and I like the fact that the Cubs pitchers, do a pretty good job of improving during the season. Corona, hey, I would take some Corona. I like Corona. Corona Light. Corona, what is it? What's the really light Corona? Primo. Mark says Miller Lite. I got some buddies that love Miller Lite. Well, there's another hit. They're peppering the ball right now. Look at that throw. Good God. This is just, it's come off the rails. It's just come off the rails. Bad throw by Pete there. You're trying to make too many things go on. And now, that bad throw costs you another run. And all of a sudden, it's just this game's like, now you're down 5. That throw. Jeez, Pete. Looks like it just slipped out of his hand. Oh, man. Well, I guess Hendricks is kind of back to where Hendricks was before. Had the one good game, but I don't think it helps him that these guys just saw him. And Tellez almost ran over the umpire. He's the guy you don't want to have a collision with. Yeah, it's just it is what it is, man. What do you do? I mean, the home runs are back. He's getting hit around again. I was surprised, honestly, that he was back in the rotation, but I feel like the reason why is because, because of the injury. And they say, well, what injury? Well, all of them. A healthy staff, and he's not going to be one of the starters, but this is just not good. What a bad inning.
Awful. And it's I mean, obviously most of that is on Hendricks there, but the defense has not bailed him out at all in any of these starts. And it's not only Hendricks. The defense has not bailed any of these pitchers out.
No.
You're getting, I mean, obviously, I don't know. I know Yasmani Grandal is really slow. I don't know if a good throw gets him. I'm not Bad inning there for Kyle Hendricks and the Cubs as they trail 5-0 through the first 4 innings of work. Paul Skenes back on the mound, already 7 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. He's back out there for bottom 4. Mike Talkman swings and misses at the first offering from Skenes.
All right. Yeah.
Wasn't necessarily crushed, but the fact.
Yeah, I think we just lost him again. Next time he pops on, we got to just get him to do this date in Cubs. Look, got to hang in there, man. I mean, like it's the last time the Cubs faced Skenes, they were down big and they came back to get the lead. So gonna have to get the offense going. Anthony says he just changed the he just changed his internet at home, and apparently it's faster. It just doesn't stay connected. Here's what let's talk about this. Sorry, Mick and Ann, I was not on board with tying up so much money, signing Suzuki, Swanson, Tyon. Would have rather played the long game like Tampa, Baltimore. You know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. The reason I put this up here is because I was with you on that. Now I think Suzuki's really been a surprise to me how good he is, but I kind of felt like you do the same formula that won the World Series, that you there's Tachman striking out. Man, this guy's how many is that now? Is that 8? Yeah, it's 8 strikeouts. I at the time I thought, okay, you know what? You could go in, lose for 3 years, do the same exact thing, go out, sign all, get young players, and then look for a free agent or two, and at that point build. But I don't think that the Ricketts wanted to go through that again. I just don't think that. I don't think that was a Jed Hoyer decision. I think that was an ownership thing. I don't think that they want to go through losing as Ian Happ takes a ball. And I think they want to win, and they felt like this would be the way to do it. But that's why I'm saying you can't trade Owen Casey, who's he's like one of the best players in the minor leagues right now. Man, I don't care what the guides tell you and all that. He's legitimately one of the best players in minor league baseball. He's got to make a little bit more contact on the soft stuff, but he can play. And you slow that down when you don't have these guys playing. When they're in the minor leagues, because a lot of that stuff. Are we gonna have a hit? No, foul. We put it in play, and it's like, wow. Anthony's trying to get back in. But, that's here nor there. I mean, I don't think that this team's very far from being successful. Now, this one was definitely one, Ronald, that I was kind of surprised about. It doesn't have to give Ian Happ a no trade clause to me. I mean, I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's a player that you give a no trade clause to. I think the Cubs did a much better job this offseason than they have in the past off seasons with deals. They have a lot of deals that have incentives where you have to be successful to get all the money. They didn't go on so many of these long-term deals, and I like that. But Joan, you're right. I mean, giving Kyle Hendricks $16 million seemed high even last year. But when you look at his numbers, he had good numbers. He put up good numbers, so that's why you do it. You go, well, you know what? We're going to give him. We're going to pay him. I mean, he's coming back healthy. He's going to be okay. But you knew that this was the worst case scenario, that, he gets back and he's just another year older and he's unable to execute his pitches. There's another guy struck out. He just blew Happ away. I mean, right now, Paul Skenes has struck out 9 Cubs. And we're in the 4th inning. I mean, that's crazy. 9 strikeouts. Oh, there he is. Hey, welcome back, Kata.
Thank you. I don't really know what's going on, but all I keep seeing is swings and misses. So maybe it was.
Well, look, before you fall out again, get us Cubs this date in Cubs baseball so we can talk about that if you freeze out again.
Okay. So today in Cubs history, 2 years ago, Christopher Morel makes his major league debut with a late inning home run.
Yeah, I saw him that year. He was in the minor leagues, and I saw him. And as Bellinger takes, it's not the 100, it's the 100 with all the movement.
It's insane.
It looks like a spaghetti. It looks like spaghetti.
It's a wiffle spaghetti.
Ball. Yeah, like this guy is so locked in right now. I mean, think about college guys trying to hit this last year.
Oh, I know. I can't believe anybody got hits off of him. Like, he's not that much better than he was last year. Like, this was the same pitcher they saw.
Yeah, he's just doing this. It's like Bellinger made contact. All right, Cubs, another inning with nothing. 9 strikeouts through 4 innings. All right. So I saw Morel, and I was always kind of curious, like, what's the deal with Morel? Like, he was a player that made a lot of mental mistakes, very athletic. And then he left that year and came back the next year, and he was really motivated to get to the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
And he did, man. And he was a much better player. Like, whatever he did in the off season that year worked. He's still growing. But the biggest compliment that I can give him is just how far he has come as a player. Third base this year, he stunk at the beginning of the season. Let's call it what it was. It was terrible. The way that he was throwing the ball was wrong. His footwork was bad, and he's just gotten better, man. He's not afraid to put the work in, and I don't have to be at Wrigley every day to know. I can just watch the way that he picks up balls and throws it. And he's playing hurt right now, guys. He got hit on the foot with that pitch. Tom, he might get 20, by the way, Tom. I don't know. But but anyway, yeah, so there you go with him. Now I would give up Owen Casey for Skenes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd give up anybody they wanted.
Yeah. 3 guys. That trade for Skenes, yeah, you guys can have it. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. What? Oh, yeah. So he debuted. He hit a home run in his debut. Yeah, it was awesome. Wilson Contreras. Remember how excited he was? For him?
Yeah. Morel. I saw the replay today. He made the hit the homer, got over the fence. He missed first base, ran back to first base, and was screaming at the first base coach. And he ran around the bases. It's been fun watching Morel grow, like you said, in his career so far. The numbers and the analytics, both sides of things just keep getting better and better each year. And I'm excited to see where he can go because Craig Counsell seems to think the world of him. And I don't think he's wrong for thinking that this guy is somebody who could be one of the premier power hitters in baseball. I really believe it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And here's the other one. I'm sure you remember it. Obviously, I don't. On this day in Cubs history, the Phillies beat the Cubs 23-22.
Isn't that where we had the big lead and then they came back and scored more than us? Or was that I do remember that game, but I don't remember watching it.
So the Phillies scored 7 in the first, and then the Cubs scored 6. As the game went on, the Phillies scored 8 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 4 in the fifth. The Cubs responded with 3 in the fourth, 7 in the fifth, and 3 in the sixth. Then the Phillies added 1 in the seventh. The Cubs tied it up at 22 with a 3-run eighth, and the Phillies scored 1 run in the top of the 10th to win it 23-22. 45 total runs, 50 total hits, 4 errors, 11
You got to
home
put
runs.
the year up next time so that
1979.
Okay, that was before my time. No wonder I don't remember. Another hit. Hendricks is back out there again.
Yeah, just doing some mop-up work.
Of his own game, right? Of his own spill.
Yeah. So looking at this box score, Larry, is it Boa?
Larry Boa. Come on.
Larry Boa, 5 hits.
Okay.
Pete Rose, Mike Schmidt, Gary Maddox all had 4 runs driven in.
Do any of those names sound familiar, though? Cubs names on the Phillies team?
Let me see.
A lot of those guys end up coming over to the Cubs. Anyway, keep going through.
And then 5 RBIs for Bob Boone.
Okay.
On the Cubs side of things, Billy Buckner had 7 runs driven in. Dave Kingman had 6.
All right, Billy Buckner is probably hit because of one play in his career, which happened to be a ground ball that took a bad bounce on him to lose the Red Sox Game 6 of the 86 World Series, is remembered for that. The late Billy Buckner actually worked in the Cubs organization. Fantastic guy, was a great baseball player. Not Hall of Fame, but better than most people that have ever played the game. And he's not remembered for it. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me he had a bunch of hits. All right, keep going.
Dave Kingman had 3 home runs for the Cubs. Mike Schmidt with 2 for the Phillies.
Now go through our lineup again. I just wanted to hear.
Oh, the lineup. Ivan DeJesus led off. He had 3 hits. Mike Vail had 3 hits. Billy Buckner and Dave Kingman were 3 and 4. Buckner had 4 hits, 7 runs driven in. Kingman had 3 homers.
The Kingmans, man. I remember the Kingman bombs.
Steve Ontiveros was the third baseman. He had 1 hit.
Okay.
Jerry Martin with 3 hits. Barry Foote with 3 hits. Ted Sizemore with 2. The Cubs also had 2 pitchers get hits in that game. Just looking at some of these pitchers, Dennis Lamp got the start for the Cubs. He got 1 out, gave up 6 runs. Then Donnie Moore came in and pitched 2 innings. He gave up 7. And then the pitcher who came in right after, Willie Hernandez, gave up 8. So that's a big chunk of the 23. Man, what a wild game. 23-22 in 10 innings.
Not one, and lost.
And lost, yes. That is this day in Cubs history for you. Connor Joe back up to bat. He's 1 for 2 today. He rips that one into left field.
Oh, God.
And they're going to hold Brian Reynolds at third. Ian Happ throws it into second base. Runners at the corners.
I just saw a comment. I got to put it up here. Oh, man. You guys keep the comments coming. Holy cow. Come on. Somebody put, man, I can't believe that they just want Kyle to pitch all 9 innings now, because it's already over. It's so funny. Like, what? I wonder how many runs he would give up if he pitched this whole game. He might give up 22. Or 23. Oh, he's out of the game. So there you go. I missed the opportunity. Yeah, this is. Oh no, there he is. Okay, so he's still in. I thought I saw him on the bench. I guess it was like a clip over there. Man, Joe Carter, man. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the guy on the Pirates. Yeah, he's a hit machine. I thought you meant Joe Carter. Yeah, Hendricks is man, this is tough. This is what the end of, I've talked about this before. This is what the end of a career looks like. It's not that you're terrible. It's just the mistakes, they just see them. And he, he went to the minor leagues and he worked through it and they still see him. It's going to be an out. It's going to add another run. So it's now 6-0. Anthony's still trying to get back in. Yeah, here we go. Joe Carter, hero of the 1993 World Series. talking about Joe Carter. What some of the players you hated to see the Cubs trade the most in the comment section? Hey, this is a great idea. Hendricks does need a knuckleball. Like a Phil Niekro knuckler. If there's anyone that could figure out how to throw it, it'd be him. You know, Jim Bouton, didn't he, like the old Yankee? He was a flamethrower, and then he learned how to throw the knuckler and came back through again. There's another hit. Oh, Connor Joe, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Nair, not yeah. It's just crazy how they see him. They just see all of his pitches. Jim says it was sad to see Ron Santo traded to the Sox. I hate it when you like Billy Williams played for the A's and Ronnie played for the Sox. Mel Hall traded to Cleveland. I remember Mel Hall. I think a lot of people hate it when the Cubs traded Mark DeRosa.
Oh yeah,
I think that was the one, and I think it had to do with the arbitration and the kind of the money that the Cubs had as a franchise back then that they weren't really public telling you, but the Tribune was pretty tight on the purse strings, and he was going to fight for every dollar, and they ended up getting Chris Archer in that deal.
Yeah,
it was kind of a throw-in.
It was weird too seeing Derek Lee play for the Pirates after the Cubs. That was a weird one.
Mark Grace was the one for me. I don't think it was a trade, though. I think it was free agency, but I loved Gracie. And I told you guys that.
Obviously, all those 2021 guys, Baez, Bryant, Rizzo, those were all tough guys to see let go and see them play. Remember they all homered in their first game with the new team, too?
Oh, yeah. It's like it just seems like there's always like that Zach Short, here's this Cubs guy that we brought up, and then he comes back. He's the worst player in the league. He can't keep a job. And then he beats us for a couple days. You know what I mean? In Atlanta, like all the players the Braves have, and we're getting beat by Zach Short. I mean, what in the hell?
Yeah, it wasn't Acuna or Matt Olson.
Oh, here's another one. Yikes. Oh, my goodness.
An 8 spot.
I think this is honestly, I think this is the end.
I think,
you know what I mean? Like, I think this might be, I remember seeing like Jim Palmer pitch at the end of his career, even somebody like Sutcliffe, who's so good, and struggle. A lot of times it's injuries. And then other times it's just that they just hit everything.
Yeah, I think it kind of has to be the end. Like, you can't just keep going out there every 5th day and be giving up 6, 7, 8 runs.
Well, here's the thing right now, though, is it's 8-0. I mean, what are you doing? Like, just keep going with it. I mean, at this point, right? Why waste the arm? I'll tell you, man, I hate seeing that body language, though. It really it hurts my heart to see that. He's so frustrated right now, and I can feel that pain, man.
Yeah, and Joan brings up a good point. He's the longest tenured Cub. He's the guy that's been here longer than anybody. He is the only active player on the roster that was a part of that 2016 World Championship winning team, and just seeing him get toward the end of his road is not something I think any of us obviously wanted or, are prepared to see.
10.57 ERA. They just peppered the ball around the yard. That you can't. They're going to say, you're going to watch the post game show, and they're going to say, "Oh, it was soft contact," and make excuses. Look, I love the guy, but he just doesn't have it anymore, and that's the truth. And maybe you go back and learn a knuckleball. I'm not saying that there's that he couldn't do that. But the form that we have right now, it's done. It just is. And it's father time. It's everything that you deal with in life. But it's soft contact, hard contact. It doesn't matter. They're hits, and they're runs, and there's a lot of runs. And you have a farm system. You got 40 guys on your roster. He's just not good enough right now. So that's the bottom line. And maybe he does something like, he I don't know. I mean, maybe you go back and learn how to throw a knuckleball. And is it even something that he could even do or want to do? But this has been kind of the way that it's been. And unfortunately, I think that today might be it.
Yeah.
So did you change? Oh, you gave up on your you gave up on your computer?
Yeah, I gave up on the computer. It's obviously having a hard day. So I had to throw the computer to the bench for today.
You're going to have to get a hard line. Slide it down there. Yeah, Mark says it's a sad day in Cubs history. I mean, what do you do? I mean, do you designate him for assignment?
Yeah, you already tried the
and then he's like knuckleball. I mean, nobody throws knuckleballs anymore, but Hendricks plays the field so well, and I think a good knuckleball always plays in baseball. The problem is nobody really throws them anymore. My dad used to throw me a knuckleball in the backyard. He loved it. Like his favorite pitchers were like the Necro brothers, and who was the other guy? Charlie Huff threw one. Hoyt Wilhelm when he was a real little kid. But he would throw it, and like if you weren't paying attention, it would miss your glove and hit you right in the chest,
Yeah, I mean, Wakefield had a really good one.
In our time, yeah. R.A.
Dickey obviously he might have even won a Cy Young, but
he did.
It's it's a pitch that's kind of gone away from baseball. It's really hard to throw. As Tellez flies that one to shallow right, Cody Bellinger puts it away for out number 3, but not before the Pirates open up an 8-0 lead. And as you look at that scoreboard, there's still a 0 in the H column for the Cubs.
Yeah, and 9 strikeouts. At this point, we're going to do the Chipper Jones, Brian McCann Braves broadcast,
Yeah.
We'll talk about some other stuff. But look, if you're at the game and you're in the bleachers, this happens. You grab a cold beer and you push through it, right? I mean, you can still have a good time. It's just not going to be a good time unless maybe the Cubs, are able to come back as far as the winning goes. But yeah, what a day. Do the Cubs have a catcher? I just saw somebody write this, and I guess I put the wrong one up here. Here it is. Do the Cubs have a catcher who could catch a knuckleball? I don't know that because I don't think any of them have had to. But what I will tell you is that the Cubs do not have Curt Casale anymore. And yeah. I'm not sold on Miguel Amaya, man. I don't think he's that good. I think he's okay. I'm not putting him in the prospect category. I don't think his bat's that good. I don't think he's that good behind the plate. He's okay. I would have rather had Curt Casale. And then Curt Casale asked for a release, and now he's catching for the Giants.
Yeah, and it's no secret that the Cubs' offensive production at catcher has been very bad so far this season. Yan Gomes in 22 games has a 1.88 batting average, which is not much better than what we've seen out of Miguel Amaya, whose batting average is still below 2 at 1.82. Only one home run on the season for both of those guys. It's frustrating because last year you had Yan Gomes, who was one of, if not your most consistent hitter in the lineup, and this year you just haven't had that. You've had a lot of mediocrity or worse than that behind home plate, which hasn't been great. Obviously, Gomes provides a lot defensively and with the pitching staff, but Curt Casale was hitting great in the minor leagues, and that was a spot in the lineup that you desperately needed help at.
Yeah, I know. And he's a better catcher, too. He's a better catcher.
Yeah, he was. I think the Cubs signed him right around when they signed David Peralta, who also elected free agency. But Peralta didn't find work quite as quick as Casale. The day that he left the Cubs, he was signed by the Giants and already in their starting lineup.
Rafael Lopez, one of my favorite former Cubs, Rafael Lopez. I don't know if this is the same Rafael Lopez, but reminds me. It'll be sad, but Hoyer will have to decide to trade players as Nico, Suzuki, and Belly and give prospects a chance to play and see which are really good. No one will take Dansby's contract. I mean, look, we're still right at the top of the division, okay?
Don't panic.
Now, that this is probably going to be Hendricks' last start. I mean, and it's like, well, don't speculate. Well, I'm telling you. I mean, you don't make it in the big leagues with that. You know, you can't pitch. You know, you can't give up 11 hits and 7 earned runs and stay. I mean, it just doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, and I hate to say it like that, but. And there's too many other good starters, you know, once you start getting guys back.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Steele. Shota and Javier Assad are 2 of the top 4 pitchers by ERA in baseball this year. Jordan Wicks is a good option when healthy. Ben Brown has been good when he's been asked to start, as has Hayden Wesneski. And not to mention, if you desperately need it, Drew Smiley should be coming off the injured list relatively soon. And then you've got Cade Horton in the minor leagues. I think all of those guys are better options than Kyle Hendricks right now.
I just don't think Kyle is good enough to be on the team.
Yeah, that's kind of just where it is right now.
I mean, I think that's just, yeah. I mean, maybe you put him in the bullpen, but and maybe that's the answer. I mean, maybe he could be like a long, you know, like a 2-inning reliever or something, you know, and that would work. But you know, like you know, somebody said we're playing the Pirates. I mean, he's getting ripped up by the Pirates. It's not like this is, you know, the Yankees and you got Juan Soto and all those guys, or Baltimore and all those young stars. This is
right.
You know,
it's. Yeah, I mean, I think you said it all perfectly. That just you can't have it on the roster. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Bush draws a walk.
So is that our first? No, yeah, it's our first base runner.
Yeah, that breaks up the PG.
Look at that guy chomping on that dog. Do you see that guy with the pinstripe Cubs hat chomping on a dog? One of these watch parties, we're doing the 999 challenge.
I was just gonna say, maybe we should start in the 5th and do a 5-5-5.
No, it's got to be from the beginning. We got to do it.
Well, this could warm us up for it, maybe.
I've got to work tonight.
Don't want to pull a Harry Carey?
No. Well, I pull a Harry Carey every night. I model my game after Harry. I'm definitely not vanilla. I can tell you that right now. We have a good time. I really just look at this and I'm like, you know, I'm just so sad that like this is where Kyle Hendricks' career is.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's sad. It reminds me a little bit of Jake Arrieta when the Cubs re-signed him and brought him back.
Oh, yeah, great comp.
And, you know, he's a guy that obviously was legendary and part of some huge games and threw some big innings and was an excellent pitcher, all-star Cy Young Award type guy. But, you know, once you get to the end of the road, the Cubs kind of felt like they owed it to him to keep putting him out there and seeing if it'll get better. And then it just got worse and worse and worse. And then you have to, you know, essentially force the guy, for lack of a better term, force the guy into retirement because it's so bleak that who else would take him?
There's the standings right now. 2 games back of Milwaukee. the rest of the division's under 500. But a lot of this is because the Cubs just aren't healthy.
Yeah, I think they're pretty clearly the best team in the division. I don't know if we're going to get much debate on that, as their strikeout number 10 for Skenes, his first double-digit strikeout game in his big league career, and I can almost guarantee you that will not be the last.
No. What's his second game?
Yeah, he's 1 for 2.
Here's another one, and you're exactly right, man. We can't keep putting Mastroboni and Magical in the lineup. We lose every time. Of course we do. They're not good players. They're role guys. And Magical he's just not the guy that I thought he was. He just rolls the ball right at the infield. It's like he doesn't strike out. He just hits in the double plays.
Yeah, and everybody talks about, he's got great contact skill. Here it is again, right to the
That's
shortstop.
it every time, man. He just rolls over the ball. And I mean, this is a tough one today, but they're just soft contact outs.
That's the frustrating part, right? Like you have this guy, he projects as, he's not a 5-2 player. There's no power. There's not a lot of speed. The base running is below average. He's a good defender, and he puts the ball in play. The only problem is he never lifts the ball. It's always a ground ball to second, or a ground ball to short, or a ground ball to third. That's outs. Sure, he's a good contact hitter. He doesn't strike out a lot, but he's still an automatic out, which doesn't make him a good hitter. Like, just because he puts the ball in play more than other guys doesn't mean you want him up in big spots, because he rolls it right on the ground right to these guys.
Yeah, right. That's exactly it.
Mastroboni, on the other hand, has a little bit more to offer offensively. He gets the ball in the air sometimes, has a little bit of speed, a little bit more defensive versatility, and he
can play shortstop, and he's left-handed.
He's a left-handed batter, but it's still like, if anything, these guys are your 26th or 25th man on the roster.
Yeah,
they cannot be in your starting 9 day after day.
Well, and that's the frustrating part. If you're not gonna IL Nico, then this is what you're stuck with. And it's like, well, we don't want to. I guess that they think he's going to be back. So now you don't have a true shortstop, and they know what they have in Luis Vazquez. They know he can come up there and play. Maybe he's injured or something. You just don't know. Maybe there's something that we're not seeing as to why they're not bringing him up. But he's the guy that you would think that you got him on your 40 man, and he's better defensively than these guys. Or at least you could put Mastroboni at second base, right? And then you got a better middle infield. I don't know. I don't mind Mastroboni as like the relief pitcher for Morel at third, but Morel's getting to the point now where I don't even know if he needs a reliever anymore at third. I mean, what you give up at the plate is maybe just as valuable, because he's not making the same mistakes he was making in the past. And I got to say this too. I was pretty hard on Quas. He's doing better, man. Like, we'll see if that changes now when he's pitching in an 8-0 game and the Cubs are getting no hit. And let's talk a lot about that word no hit, because when you say it kind of like it's like one of these things right here.
Yeah, I actually have an interesting question for you. Have you ever seen a major league no hitter in person?
No.
Okay, I have. I saw Cole Hamels no hit the Cubs in 2015.
Oh wow!
At Wrigley, and obviously a diehard Cubs fan. The Cubs obviously lost that game. They got no hit. But as a baseball fan, also, once it got late into the game, I kind of found myself rooting so that I could see a no hitter. You know what I mean? Like, instead of rooting for the Cubs to get one hit and still lose 5-0, I kind of wanted to see the no hitter.
That's how it happens a lot of times.
And I was wondering, at what point do you switch gears from I want the Cubs to get back into this game to I'd like to see a no hitter?
Never for me, but I mean, I get it. I mean, I wouldn't blame you for it, but I'm the guy that's like cheering when we break up the no hitter, like with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the 9th. I don't want to give them anything. But I get it, man. Baseball history is cool.
Yeah,
People getting fired up over this Hendricks stuff right here.
Yeah.
Make him the closer. He couldn't close. I think that the bigger option is that he's done.
Here are honestly, I think these are your three options. A, he's done because you can't really throw him on a phantom IL again because you already tried that. B, he comes into a bullpen role. Or C, because it always seems like it's the second time through the order that gets him. What if you used him as like a 2-inning opener?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, you're really working hard now to keep the guy on the roster.
That's true. It's true. You're just doing him a favor at that point.
If it was anybody else, they would be designated for assignment. I don't want him designated. I would rather him, go to Arizona and just hang out for the rest of the season, and then maybe, if you get in, if maybe he figures something out. But I mean, the idea of him being on the big league roster and this is like he's just getting killed. Like the change up out over the plate.
Yeah, it's so hard to watch. Like that's just the only way you can really put it into words. And you mentioned Quas. He has been a lot better since returning from the minors. He spent about a month down there in AAA, and he struck out, I think, 17 in only 8 innings of work. So the strikeout numbers were way up. I think he came back to the big leagues with an ERA over 12, and now it's somewhere, I think, 7 or in the 6s. So it's already dropped incrementally so far. And I think that's, a good news for Jose Quas, a guy that struggled so much, trying to grab a little bit of light on a really dark day. Quas has been a lot better.
Yeah, well, the misses aren't out over the plate anymore.
Right. And if you're going to miss the zone.
Right. And it worked the corners and, and that's the pitch right there. If you're coming in, it's gotta be dipping and not the ones before were like sweeping right out over the plate and the guys were killing them. So we'll see. I mean, look, who knows he might give up 10 runs today. I don't know, but we need him to step up because, we need everybody to step up in that bullpen. All right. One of you guys asked how Magical was a first round pick. I saw him when he was coming up, and the guy could absolutely rake. He didn't hit all the ground balls. They were like line drives. And then he had that really horrific injury with the White Sox.
Yes.
And it just isn't the same player anymore. And that happens, man. I mean, that's the tough part about having an injury like that. It just, and he's older, but I thought he was a really good player. And when the Cubs got him, I thought it's going to be a good trade. And he's just, he's just the soft contact and the ground outs and everything else. Joey's jumping in a little late. Hey, just glad that you made it. Pour yourself a cold beer and jump on in. Said, what's up, guys? Hate to say it. I really, really do. But if Kyle starts another game for us, then we aren't trying to win. Yeah, we talked about this, Joey. We just think that this is probably it for Kyle. It's got to be. Unless they move him to the bullpen or something. But this is what it looks like at the end of a great career sometimes. And like you said, Jake Arrieta's the same thing. It just isn't there. Kyle's done everything right his entire career. He's a competitor. He's a great person. He's a leader. But at the end of the day, you got to get guys out, and he can't do that anymore.
Yeah, and the part that's really frustrating about it is just because of the way the human brain and the human body works is you have a lot of recency bias. So I think, you have a lot of recency bias. So I think a lot of people are going to remember Hendricks as this pitcher who was bad. And I think you cannot do that. He was a great pitcher, and he was a part of a great World Series run. So don't let the recency bias get to your head and look at this last year as Kyle Hendricks' career, because he's been a great pitcher for the first, 8-9 years of it.
There you go. Got through the inning anyway. All right, guys, I think it's Wordle time. Do you got some Cubs Wordles for us?
I don't know if I could do it from my phone. Is there a way to
Okay.
share what I'm doing?
No. Just tell. Well, how about you just put in the
Okay.
private chat how I get there or something, and I'll do it.
Okay. Well,
And
you
if you're
just
just getting here, Anthony got new internet, and now he can't stay on with his computer. It was like he'd just do this.
yeah, every 5 seconds I'd freeze up and it'd kick me out. I could do it on my computer and have just tell you guys what to put in.
Hey, yeah, where the hell's Wisdom?
Well, he only plays
He
against
plays
lefties.
lefties, yeah. So he's not going to be in there for the gas today.
Also, he would be probably 0 for 3 with 3 strikes. It's not he's not hitting Paul Skenes.
Right.
Obviously, nobody is.
Yeah. Where do I go for this Wordle?
You just look up Immaculate Grid. I could also pull it up and then tell you guys what we're looking for.
All right, here's one. Cubs right off the shoot. Oh man. You guys ready for some Immaculate Grid?
Yeah.
Everybody cheer.
Woo!
All right, let's go. Let's do this. Boom.
All right, little Immaculate Grid action. Oh, you got the Cubs in there. Marlins, Braves, Phillies, Silver Slugger. Okay. Well, we could do Cubs, Phillies, Jake Arrieta. We just talked about him.
Yeah, but that would be an easy one. I mean, wouldn't we want to do the Phillies and the Cubs have so many? You read them today, Larry Boa and Gary Matthews, Sarge, and Ryan Sandberg,
Schwarber, Castellanos.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think? Everybody knows that Rhino played for the Phillies.
I don't know. I don't know if Philly fans really recognize that as a part of their history.
Would managing matter too?
I think it's just players.
Do Matthews. All right, let's do Gary Matthews because that's going to be less people are going to know that.
Let me ask you this, Mick. If Pete Crow Armstrong bunts to break up a no-hitter down 8-0, do you have a problem with it?
Hell no. Do it.
What do you guys think in the comments? Is that something you guys are fine with? A bunt for hit to break up a no-hitter?
Ooh, there we go. 0.6. Not too shabby.
Nice.
So then we got Braves, Marlins.
Yeah, Brad Hand did. He's played for all of the NL East teams.
Somebody said Skenes would break his hand. I got to watch this just to see.
Pete Crow, another grounder to first.
Oh, come on, man. Bunt.
Maybe if he comes up in the 9th, he'll do it.
All right, you say Brad Hand.
Brad Hand for either Braves Marlins or Phillies Marlins.
Wait, what about Fred McGriff? Did he for the Marlins? No, he played for Tampa Bay.
Tony Taylor for Cubs Phillies, Jim L says.
Well, let's do this, Braves. Let's start here with it. Let's just get this one right here. See what we got.
Amaya pops that one up.
Braves, Marlins. Yeah, Tony Taylor's definitely nobody's going to get that. I just popped that in there.
Skenes up to 88 pitches. I wonder how far they'll let
That's
him
a
go.
good one. 0.2%.
Nice. Off to a really good start.
Yeah.
Gary Sheffield, Braves Marlins, somebody said.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody remembers Sheffield with the Braves. You said Brad Hand, though. I think that's probably.
He also did Phillies Marlins if you want to use him for there.
Who?
Brad Hand. He's pitched for every NL East team.
So that's like a gimme. Do we want to go Brad Hand, Phillies Marlins?
Yeah, let's see what the people say.
Oh, 3%. You just blew us. You just blew our
3% still good.
No, we want points.
Here's the 2-2. Amaya flies it foul. Out of play.
Jim Sandberg, Sundberg, and Scott Anderson. Holy cow.
Holy cow.
No, Jim DeShay's on there.
For Marlins Phillies?
No. I'm watching the game.
Oh.
All right, Marlins Phillies. Somebody obscure.
2-2 on its way from Skenes. Just misses. Zambrano? Was he a Marlin and a Philly? I know he was a Marlin. I don't remember him being a Philly.
I don't either. Was he a Philly?
Someone put it in the chat. I'm not sure if he was, though.
Yeah. Are they going to let this guy throw a no-hitter?
I don't think so.
I mean, they're going to take him out. Like, he's not allowed to throw a no-hitter.
He's at 94 pitches. He'll probably have 6 no-hit innings with 11 strikeouts.
All right, Marlins Phillies.
The big question is, can the Cubs put 7 up on the Pirate bullpen?
How about the Cubs Silver Slugger?
I don't know why I said 7, 8. So I'm thinking Zambrano probably won it as a pitcher.
Oh, that one would be yeah, you're right. Big Z.
I also think, Rizzo's got one. Bellinger won it last year.
No, Zambrano, if that's right. It's a roll of the dice here. But if that's right,
it should be a good one, right?
Yeah. He was a good hitter. Hate to do this. 4%? Are you kidding me?
No way.
If we wanted a high percent, we would have picked Rhino.
A Brave, a Philly, and a Silver Slugger that played right.
All right, Craig, we went with your guy. All right, now we need right.
Marlin Philly. Why is that one so hard?
Like some obscure reliever.
All right, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 99 pitches for Skenes. He might empty the tank on this one and give us 102. 100, strike 3. 100 pitches even for Paul Skenes. 6 innings, 11 Ks.
Like back in the day, a guy's not letting you pull him out of the game, but they're pulling him out. He's not pitching. He is not throwing another pitch, even though he has absolutely shoved it right up the Cubs behind today. All right, let's work on Immaculate Grid, guys, while we're watching the Cubs get no hit.
All right,
JT Realmuto. That is one.
Oh, yeah, that is one. It's a good one.
I'll just do that because none of us really seem to know the Marlins and the Phillies.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have this one. 35%.
Yeah, that'll screw you up.
We suck.
Giancarlo Stanton won a Silver Slugger for them. I'm sure Ozuna and Yelich might have also, but I know for a fact Stanton did. It's probably another guy. Did Miguel Cabrera win before he went to the Tigers?
Oh, yeah, but we'll just go Stanton. This will be – we've already blown it.
What's he got? Yeah, he's up there.
We've already blown our chance to have like just a really immaculate grid, but at least we can get through this together. All right, played a minimum of one game in right field for Atlanta.
Jason Hayward.
Okay. Wow, nobody remembers him. With the Phillies, Kyle Schwarber.
Castellanos, Harper. I don't know if Schwarber ever played right. I know Castellanos does or did.
I wonder if Bobby Dernier ever played right field.
Oh, interesting.
It'd be fun to just give Bobby Dernier a little love.
Yeah.
This might ruin our grid, by the way.
Kwas out there for another inning of work.
How does he spell his name?
Oh, Ben Revere. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'll just do that. That one's a good one. All right, last one. Silver Slugger that played right field.
Did Bryant win a Silver Slugger?
Who?
Chris Bryant?
Oh, yeah. He did. Oh, we didn't get that one.
He didn't win a Silver Slugger?
He had to have.
The only thing I was thinking is they might have given the Silver Slugger to Arenado in those years.
Did he not play right field?
No, he's played right for sure.
That's crazy.
I'll look it up. You could also go up at the top there where it says previous grids and do other days. Yeah, Chris Bryant has never won a Silver Slugger.
Wow.
Four-time All-Star, MVP, Rookie of the Year, no Silver Slugger.
And we thought that was going to be like the easy one.
Yeah, we were worried about right field. Nolan Arenado won 4 straight Silver Sluggers for third base in the National League, 2015, 16, 17, and 18. So that's who stole it from us. The broadcast hasn't shown any action in the Pirates bullpen, but you got to assume that Skenes is done.
Yeah, you got to.
He did pitch like 120, 130 for the for LSU quite a bit, but I don't think the Pirates are going to have him do that. But also, I wonder, historically, obviously this is only a second start. Has anybody ever thrown a no-hitter by their second start?
I'm sure someone has. I don't know who that would be, but
that'd be very impressive as Craig Counsell comes out. I think that's going to be it for Jose Kwas. Another pretty good outing for him out of the pen. And I can't see yet who they're bringing in for a pitching change.
crazy.
Pirates on top, 8-zip.
Well, look at that, though. 6 innings, no hits, no runs, no earned runs, a walk, and 11 strikeouts. And, I mean, the Cubs, and this is definitely not the A Cubs lineup, but they have absolutely been demolished in this game. Mark says he feels bad for Cubs fans today. Well, you know what? Maybe unless it's a no-hitter and then, they get to see that. It is disgusting. I agree.
Yeah, I would say it's been hard to watch, but it was actually kind of fun watching Paul Skenes pitch.
So is he out, you think?
I personally don't know how you pull a guy pitching that well, but at the same time, he's already at 100 pitches through 6 innings, and you're not going to let him throw 9. That'd be 130 minimum. That seems like way too much. You could put him out in the 7th, but at the same time, is it really worth him getting a 110, 112 just for 7 innings if you're not going to give him the 8th and the 9th?
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah, I am not looking forward to a full season or a full career's worth of Paul Skenes in the NL Central.
Yeah, well, who would? I mean, jeez.
I got another Cubs trivia question.
Okay.
Ian Happ is the Cubs career leader in home runs by a switch hitter. There's a top 10 list, and I want to see if we can get some of these other guys.
On the Cubs.
Cubs
top 10.
career.
Wow. He's already the top guy?
He's the top guy by like double the second place guy.
Really?
Cubs haven't had a whole lot of switch hitters.
Yeah, I can't even think of any switch hitters. That's crazy.
He's got 127 Hap in his career. The second place guy has 59.
Man. Cubs switch hitters. Who would that be?
Luke Little coming back into action. Oh, good one. McRae. Brian McRae. He's number 5 with 35 career home runs for the Cubs.
Chili Davis didn't play for the Cubs. I know he coached for the Cubs.
He did not play for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Ben Zobrist. Good one, Jeff. Ben Zobrist is number 4 with 40 home runs in a Cub uniform.
Wow.
There's another player on that 2016 team. He may or may not have led off Game 7 with a home run.
Bullhorn? Rick Wilkins? I really don't know.
Dexter Fowler.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How many did he have? Like 10 or something?
30.
What? How many years did we have him? 2 years?
2 years. Probably 15 and 15 or something like that.
I wish
13.
I wish they would have re-signed him.
Little's 0-1 in there for a strike. So I'll go through the list because it doesn't seem like anybody's getting any of these.
Wait, here, Juan Pierre?
No, I don't think he was a switch hitter.
Mark, I was thinking Juan Pierre too. I guess I'm with you.
But if he was, nice catch there by Mastroboni. If he was not. He did not hit 23. 23 gets you in the top 10 here.
Okay, all right. Well, good. Are you guys want to keep going, or are you?
Perez is not on the list.
Oh, here you go. It's your turn to sing.
On a day like today, just listen.
Oh, look, there's Fowler today.
Yeah, just listen to Dexter sing. You guys don't want to hear us. The Cubs are already down 8-0. But Fowler is 6th on this list with 30 home runs in between 2015 and 2016. Some of these names I've never even heard of.
Okay.
Augie Gallen.
Okay.
He's number 2 with 59. Walt Wilmot is number 3 with 42.
Yeah, I was never going to get any of these guys.
Then 4, 5, 6, and 7, we got Zobrist, McRae, Fowler, and Bellhorn. Joan got number 10 just now. Carlos Zambrano is number 10.
I forgot he switch hit.
And then number 8 was Ripper Collins, and number 9, Todd Hundley.
Ripper Collins.
From 1937 to 1938.
Wow. Ripper.
Yes. So that's the Cubs list of all-time switch hitters. Or all-time home runs from switch hitters. Ian Happ will have that lead for a long time, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, Jonathan Perlaza was a switch hitter with power from both sides of the plate, but he didn't get to the big leagues.
Who was that one catcher, backup catcher? Was it Deoner Navarro?
Oh, yeah. I remember Deoner Navarro.
He was a switch hitter too, but he must not have hit that many.
No. Who do you think? I can tell you the greatest switch hitters of all time.
I could give you some of them, maybe. I was going to say Mickey Mantle and Chipper Jones were the first 2 that popped in my head.
Pete Rose. Well, home run wise, I bet you it's Mickey, Mark Teixeira, Eddie Murray.
Chipper hit some bombs.
Chipper didn't hit 500 though. I think he was like.
I don't think Teixeira did either.
Let's check that.
Chipper hit 468.
Oh wow, okay. So
I didn't realize it was that much.
How many did Teixeira hit?
Teixeira 409.
Okay.
But he's another one. a really good power hitting switch hitter.
So would it be Mantle hit 500 and something, Murray hit 500 and something? Are they maybe there's one more in there in that top group?
I'm checking.
And guess who's out of the game?
Yeah, Paul Skenes out of the game.
So no, they pulled him. They pulled him. That's the new world of baseball. And honestly, it's like, it's a shame for the game that it's turned into like this. Like think about how exciting it would be if he was out there pitching.
Yeah, I remember back in 2021, the Cubs had a combined no-hitter against the Dodgers. I think it went Smiley to Tepera to Chafin to Kimbrel.
Baseball ought to reward the teams with draft picks for no-hitters by one pitcher and stuff like that, where they'll do it. Because they don't value the game enough, like, to do it. They're just worried about everybody getting hurt. And the only way they're going to start doing it is if they're, because their analytics tell them that the guy's going to get hurt if he pitches a complete game, period.
Right. Bellinger flies that to right center. And it's Sawinski who catches that one. So I'm looking at the all-time
Pretty swing, man. Pretty swing.
It is, yeah. I'm looking at the all-time career home runs by switch hitters.
And that's true.
Mickey Mantle and Eddie Murray are 1 and 2.
Okay.
Mantle with 536, Murray 504. Chipper Jones at 468. Teixeira is 5. And I'll let you keep guessing the other ones.
Maybe Chili Davis.
Chili Davis is 7.
Yeah. Man, trying to think, like, not many switch hitters with power. Just give them to me. Give them to me.
Carlos Beltran is 4.
Oh yeah, God, I would have never got that.
Lance Berkman was 6.
Okay.
Chili Davis 7. You said him. Reggie Smith 8.
Mm-hmm. I liked Reggie Smith.
Carlos Santana 9.
Wow. He's playing now.
Yeah, the Guardians, the Pirates, I think the Twins as well. He's 8. Ruben Sierra 9.
I remember Ruben Sierra.
Morel sends that the opposite way for a knock. Breaks up the no-hitter.
Woo! Thank you.
All right, now we just need the Cubs plus 1.5 for our parlay. That part doesn't look too good.
Oh, the Cubs have to win for the parlay?
No, they have to lose by 1 run. But they're down 8 right now. So, and then number 10 was Bernie Williams and Bobby Bonilla tied. That's the most career home runs by a switch hitter.
Those hats, like the Pirates hats, match their uniform perfectly.
Yeah, it does.
Ours look like we got a uniform and then the hat just doesn't match. I don't understand that. Like, why not make the team's hat match the colors that they wear? Don't you think that it would be better if it was blue instead of black?
Yeah, I get the thought there. Like how, like on the Mother's Day hat, they just take like the blue hat and throw some pink on it.
Yeah.
I get that. I do. And yes, that's right, Jim. Bobby Bonilla's still getting paid by the Mets.
Bobby Bo.
One of the best fleeces of all time.
Oh, yeah.
3-0 to Bush down the middle.
Nothing like paying somebody that played like 20 years ago.
I know it's a little off topic, but are you a golf fan at all?
I saw where Scotty Scheffler got arrested today. I'm not a big golf guy, but I it's got to be one of the best marketing campaign tools we've ever seen.
Crazy.
Are you? Yeah, you work at a golf course.
Yeah, so I'm a big golf. I've been following it pretty closely the last couple of years, but I saw one of the highlights. So first of all, he birdied the first hole. of the day, which is impressive after being in a jail cell in the morning. But he said, I stretched in a jail cell this morning, so that was a first.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The moral of the story is that when the police tell you to stop, stop.
Yeah.
I mean, and he can say what he wants, a nicely crafted apology, but people do that crap all the time when I'm driving. I can't stand it. None of us want to be stuck there. What makes you different than everybody else? I mean, and I know you're the number one golfer in the world, but chill out, dude. Like, somebody died in a car wreck. Your golf game's important, but somebody else's life was lost out there.
Right.
And I can understand why the police got frustrated with him, but you don't see a lot of that happening because celebrities normally get better treatment than the rest of us.
Yeah.
Not this time, though.
Pete Rose was the switch hitter, but he was not on the all-time home run list. He's probably down there somewhere. Obviously, on
Well, he
the
didn't hit a
all-time.
lot of home runs, but how about the most hits by a switch hitter list?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Pete Rose is at the top there.
Do you feel relieved after we scored a run?
Even you mean that we got a hit?
Yeah.
I think you have to. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Pete Rose is one. Most of these names are pretty familiar. Eddie Murray's on the list, Chipper Jones, Beltran. But the new guys on the list: Jimmy Rollins, Ozzie Smith,
Okay.
Tim Raines, Omar Vizquel, Roberto Alomar. So a lot of the same and a lot of different.
So what do you think happens with Hendricks? You think they make a move after the game? Do you think they sit on it and it's something that, how quick? I mean, because I think he's done.
Yeah, I'd be interested to kind of see what he has to say after the game. I wonder, if the Cubs DFA'd him, would he pursue another opportunity in baseball, or would he, hang him up? Because
what would you do?
I'd probably, I don't know if I'd want to play for a new team.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
But his last start 5 days ago was good enough, So he obviously, if I'm him, I'm thinking I could get back to that. So I think I'd be trying to still pitch unless I really thought I had nothing left. That'll retire the side.
We got so many outs in the lineup today. Like, when you saw that lineup today, were you thinking like, this is the lineup that's going to score a bunch of runs?
No, I mean, I understand regular scheduled day offs for a guy that just got off the injured list, but this is the type of game that you need a hitter like, say, a Suzuki in there. You know what I mean? It's not a great matchup for Pete Crow Armstrong to face 100. Like, he's not.
Well, he made contact twice.
He did. He might be. I'll have to check. He might be the only guy in the lineup without a strikeout. But Talkman looked bad. Haps looked. I mean, granted, everybody's looked bad. Nobody looks really good out there. But you need guys like Horner and Suzuki in the lineup when you face top pitching, and when you're
Right.
already. And Swanson's on the IL, so your three starters off. And that's why you have to see Madrigal and Mastroboni in there. And it's frustrating because we know that these guys are automatic outs. We've been seeing it all year, but they just don't really have any options at the big league level right now to supplement that. And the longer you keep Horner waiting and waiting before you put him on the injured list and use up a spot on the bench, you're going to be even thinner and need more out of Mastroboni and Madrigal.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look down the road, rest of the series. Cubs have lost the first 2 games to the Pirates. I think that's easy. That's easy to say.
Tomorrow, Shota Imanaga pitches, so you got to feel good about that. He's been your one constant all season long, and tomorrow he is on the bump for the Cubs against Bailey falter. I think he's the guy that the Cubs kind of knocked around. No, two runs they scored off of him last time out a week ago. He's 2-2 with a 4.15 ERA up against Shota Imanaga, who's obviously 5-0 with a stellar 0.96 ERA. So if there's any game in the series you feel good about, I think it's the game that Shota starts.
So painful.
Then on Sunday, it's the Pirates' Mitch Keller, who's 4-3 with a 3.93 ERA on the season. A guy that the Cubs have actually had pretty good success against so far. Against Jamison Tyone, who's 3-1 on the year with a 1.61 ERA. He's been pretty good. Iffy last start coming off the back injury where he had a start skipped, but overall this season he's looked a lot more like what you paid all that money for.
Yeah, I give him credit. I mean, like, first off, Imanaga's been great. Tylen, I mean, just get the back. Just keep working the back. Stay loose, because he's looked like the guy that they hoped they were getting. Where's the rotation at right now?
So it goes, we'll start with Steele. It goes Steele, Hendricks, Imanaga, Tyone, Assad. So I guess that would mean if it's not Hendricks and it's like Brown or Wisniewski, it would go like Steele, Brown, Imanaga, Tyone, Assad. It depends where you'd say the rotation starts, but that's pretty much it. Reminder, this is a 4-game series, so the Cubs do get 2 more chances to even things up against the Bucks, starting tomorrow with Imanaga on the mound, like you said, and then Tyone out there on Sunday as Mark Leiter Jr. comes into pitch. I know a lot of you are probably saying, like, man, Mark Leiter Jr., why are we burning one of our best arms in an 8-0 game? He hasn't pitched in a while. Sometimes you just need to get a guy out there and get some work in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's out there. Got the first 2 outs. That'll bring up Andrew McCutchen. Mark Leiter Jr., one of 4 Cubs pitchers who have not either been injured or been sent down to the minor leagues this season. And McCutchen swings and misses at that one. Did you see, by the way, that the Cubs have lost Justin Steele's last 8 starts dating back to last season?
I remember the ones last season.
One of them was against the Pirates. The Pirates seemed to hit him really well. McCutchen gets into that one. Happ with a leap, and it's into the basket.
Leiter
Home run,
knew it.
Andrew McCutchen.
If you're going to give up a home run, do it now.
9-zip.
Wow. Oh, man. So Dansby Swanson, let's talk some Swanson. He is eligible to come off of the IL Sunday.
Let me check that to make sure, but I believe that is correct.
Yeah, just dig that up, because I'm thinking that he can come off Sunday, and they're saying Tuesday will be the day that he'll.
So if it's retroactive to a day and he got put on the 10-day IL, take that day and add 10, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's retroactive to May 8th with a right knee sprain. So that would mean tomorrow, in theory, he could come off the injury list.
Mm-hmm. But they don't. They're saying, and you can Google this too. I thought I heard counsel saying that it was going to be Tuesday. They're hoping Tuesday. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it would be great to have him back. Not that I don't mind the Miles Masterboni, Nick Magical double play combo.
So far, all I'm seeing is that he took live batting practice today against against Drew Smiley and Jordan Wicks, who also threw today.
Nice.
And let's see what else. I see that Cubby's Crib thinks that Nick Madrigal should get optioned to Iowa once Dansby Swanson returns.
Which one is which one? I know I've read them before. Is that this? Is that the Sports Illustrated one? Cubby's Crib.
I think so.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, Dansby Swanson's injury update. Ramped up his activity ahead of Thursday's game, hit live batting practice on Friday. Seems to be progressing well. The 30-year-old is eligible to come off the injured list Saturday, but it's unclear if he will need a brief rehab assignment or return to the lineup on Sunday or early next week.
Okay.
For Horner, it says Cubs second baseman Nico Horner remained out of Thursday and Friday's lineup, went through a regular pregame workout, and if all goes well, it is expected that Horner will be back in the lineup for the Cubs' third game of the series.
So that would be tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. So, and this is from rotoballer.com. It's a fantasy baseball website, so you know they want to be on top of their injury stuff. Leiter gives up a soft flick out in the left field. I think that's Brian Reynolds' third hit of the ball game.
Mm.
The chat happened. Hendricks should retire.
How about this? Madrigal, 3 for 4.
He's not a high on base player. He doesn't take walks.
Yeah, I'm just not. I don't know. I heard some. I'll be honest with you guys. I heard some people that last time his name came up when I was around the big league team, and people around the team were like, maybe not the players, but just people that cover it every day were like, he's just not good. I don't know. I mean, I just think he never really came back from that injury.
Yeah,
too many soft contact ground balls right at people.
I remember when the Cubs traded for him. One of my friends, who's a diehard Sox fan, texted me and he was like, "You guys just got a guy that's going to hit 290 for the next 10 years." Like
and I
that's
thought
what
that too. I did
that's
too.
what you thought you were getting. But he just hasn't looked like the player he was before that injury, and obviously the Cubs traded for him while he was hurt.
Yep.
And he never really recovered the way they wanted him to, and frankly, it's been ugly with Madrigal.
Yep. I wish he was. I mean, I always liked him, but
yeah, I mean, I've always counted him into the Cubs' kind of future plans, if you will, like as a back then before Horner as your second baseman, and then last year a little bit as your third baseman, or even as a bench utility guy. But he's just not. He hasn't hit the way you thought he was going to when you acquired him.
right.
I was looking at the Cubs transaction page because I wanted to see when they placed Dansby Swanson on the injured list. And man, even in just May, these injuries is insane. The rehab assignments, the options, the free agents,
Run. Do you have the list? Run through it.
Okay, starting from May 1st. I'll only do the ones that affect the big league team. Like there's some assigned a guy from AA to AAA stuff, but May 1st, the Cubs sent Justin Steele on a rehab assignment to Iowa Cubs. May 2nd, the Cubs sent Kyle Hendricks on a rehab assignment to the Tennessee Smokies. May 4th, the Cubs optioned Matt Mervis to Iowa and recall Miles Mastrobuoni. May 6th, the Cubs optioned Keegan Thompson to Iowa and reactivate Justin Steele from the 15-day injured list. May 7th, Keegan Thompson is recalled. Alexander Canario optioned back to the minor leagues. Also on May 7th, Kyle Hendricks to a rehab assignment on the Iowa Cubs. Also on May 7th, Daniel Palencia placed on the 15-day injured list with a right shoulder strain. Cody Bellinger recalled from the 10-day injured list. May 8th, Seiya Suzuki on a rehab assignment. Then on May 10th, the Cubs placed Dansby Swanson on the injured list, and Seiya Suzuki is brought off the injured list. May 11th, the Cubs recall Jose Cuas from Iowa. Also on May 11th, Yency Almonte placed on the 15-day injured list with a right shoulder strain. May 12th, the Cubs option Jose Cuas to Iowa to activate Kyle Hendricks off the 15-day injured list. Then on May 13th, Adbert Alzolay is placed on the 15-day injured list, and Jose Cuas is recalled once again. Jake Slaughter traded to the Mariners for right-handed pitcher Tyson Miller on May 14th. In a corresponding move to activate Tyson Miller to the 40-man roster, Richard Lovelady was designated for assignment. Then on May 15th, Luke Little is recalled by the Chicago Cubs as Keegan Thompson is placed on the 15-day injured list. Porter Hodge recalled from the Cubs today on May 17th as Colton Brewer was placed on the 15-day injured list. So it definitely has been tough sledding for the Cubs. These injuries obviously adding up. Just when you thought it was getting better with Justin Steele and Cody Bellinger and Seiya Suzuki coming back to the lineup, it gets worse with more and more guys hitting the shelf. Dansby Swanson.
Jeez.
Ian Happ's been injured. Christopher Morel is banged up.
They got some ice cream, so I had to get it or it was going to melt.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of the ice cream, especially on a day like this. Let's take a look, too. Currently, these are all the Cubs players on the injured list. Dansby Swanson on the 10-day injured list.
Wow.
Keegan Thompson on the 15-day injured list, along with Drew Smiley, Jordan Wicks, Adbert Alzolay, Daniel Palencia, and Yency Almonte. Julian Merriweather and Caleb Killian on the 60-day injured list.
That's crazy.
So much injury.
I know. The sad part about it is Merriweather, such a big part of the team last year.
And he was, through his first 4 games, a huge part of the bullpen this year. It looked like, at least for the first few starts, you could go Merriweather to Leiter to Naris. You had 3 type of setup guys, and then to Alzolay. Then, okay, Alzolay's not your closer. You make Naris the closer, and you can go Merriweather to Leiter to Naris as a 7, 8, 9. But then Merriweather goes down. Naris still pitching well, but has obviously been super lucky. He's putting 2 guys on base every time he's out there and somehow hasn't blown anything yet.
Right. Here's Rob talking about Slaughter. Slaughter had to be traded. He's just, his style of play isn't something that some of the people in the front office like.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that the Cubs have a lot of depth, at least prospect-wise, at different positions, and they need pitching, and that's just the fact of the matter right now. You need a ton of pitching. Brian says Mervis would benefit from a trade. He probably would. I just don't think right now there's a ton of value for Matt Mervis because you haven't seen any type of production at the big league level quite yet.
That's exactly the problem, is that he hasn't performed.
Swing and a miss from Amaya. I was going to say let's check in on the baseball scoreboard around the league, but need I remind you that on Friday, we're the only game.
With the foam on top. Richie walked in. It's 9-0. We can talk to Richie like he's here.
Hey, Richie.
He said, hey, he's going to go get me another ice cream. Look out. Rob, Casey's doing good in Iowa. He's the funny thing about Casey in Iowa is every time there's a rehab, he always hits a home run,
Yeah. Here's the 2-2.
Amaya wasn't a top hitting prospect. He was one of those guys that really never performed. He'd have been in the big leagues 2 years ago and he got hurt. I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think he's as good as Kurt Casale.
Yeah, I just think he doesn't project as like a guy that's going to turn into like an all-star catcher. He's just going to be like a fine player.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot my French fries.
And as obviously we're in the bottom of the 8th, 2-2 count, 2 outs, 9-0 game. Just want to say thank you guys for joining us. It's
Oh yeah.
obviously not a FriDAY watch party, but thanks for coming on, chopping it up about the Cubs with us. Obviously not a whole lot to get into about the game. So if you guys have any Cubs questions, fire them off in the chat. And Mick handles a lot of the prospect stuff. He knows a lot of these guys. So if you want to know about even stuff not at the major league level, Mick's your guy. But yeah, let's get into some of your guys' questions.
All right. First off, Ballesteros hit a 3-run homer yesterday. The guy's got 5 home runs. Thank you. And 20 some runs batted in. You can stay in here. He's been really good. You know, the tough part for him is going to be finding a position. But as far as like finding the way that he swings it, great hands. Great hands, hand the ball, great contact. He's a great contact hitter because he uses the entire field, has some power the other way. He's someone they could trade. You know, he's going to get some value. Catching wise,
Amaya breaks up the shutout.
Hey, there we go.
A home run into the left field bleachers. Miguel Amaya puts the Cubs on the board, and now it's 9-1.
I'll take it, man. It's on the board. I've been dreaming of ice cream. Anyway.
Somebody just said in the chat this is going to be the Cubs' third shutout of the week, and it definitely looked like that. But even though the Cubs did score 1 run, the point is the same. The Cubs cannot be putting up 0 and 1 and expecting to win ball games. They're in a bit of a skid right now.
Yeah, he needs that. I don't know about him long term. The advantage he has, though, is that the Cubs don't have any minor league catching prospects. Ballesteros is more of a, I mean, he's not terrible behind the plate, but he's got work to do on the defensive part of it, but he can really hit, you know, and if he can improve in that area, he could be somebody to help him out. I do dip fries in my my ice cream, but I forgot them in the other room. Here's one. Who do you think who do you think Cubs will re-sign after the season? Steele, Morel, Tauchman?
Well, only Tauchman would be a free agent. If the Cubs were signing Steele or Morel, it would be to an extension. I think both Steele and Morel are good candidates for an extension. I also think they should hop on Javier Assad before he ever becomes a free agent. That's a guy you want to lock up, whether you use him long term in the bullpen or in the rotation, whatever. He's a guy you need at the big league level for a long time. But I would say a Tauchman if they need him, but I think this might be Tauchman's last year with the Cubs, especially if Bellinger opts back in after the season, because you're going to have Happ, Suzuki, Bellinger, Pete Armstrong, Canario. You got a lot of outfielders. And I love Tauchman. He's been a really good hitter, and he's been a big part of this team and this offense this season, but he may not fit long term.
Do you think though that do you think Bellinger's going to take that option?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things like if he has a good season, he'll opt out. If he has a bad season, he'll opt in. But what if it's somewhere in the middle? Like he's just a good player. He's not a great player.
Well, he's going to opt in. Yeah, I mean, if he had a great season, he'd opt out probably.
Yes, exactly. If he has a season like last season, he'd opt out. If he had a season like the year before, obviously he'd opt in. Somewhere in the middle, it's kind of up for grabs. But I'm sure the Cubs would be involved as Tauchman punches one into right.
There we go.
I'm sure the Cubs would be involved in conversations with him, even if he did opt out just for more money, because it's not about not wanting to play here. It's about thinking he's worth more than that contract.
Right. But I think it's about right. I mean,
I do too.
I thought Jed did a great job with that whole thing.
Yeah.
Imagine if they would have given him like $200 million. And you worry about like long-term durability for these guys, you know?
Right. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about Ian Happ being an automatic out. Long-term, as Pico Armstrong comes up and Mike Tauchman continues to have success, and you have guys like Owen Casey and Kevin Alcantara waiting in the wings, is Hap kind of the odd man out in your mind?
I don't know, but is his on base streak against the Pirates like up for grabs today?
Oh, it is. I have that in the chat somewhere. I'm not able to post the banners anymore on my phone, but he's got a 63 game on base streak against the Pirates in his career, dating back to 2018. 63 straight against the Pirates, and obviously he has not been on base.
63 straight?
63 straight.
Whoa. Hey, I'm gonna throw this away. I'll be right back.
And he obviously hasn't been
I got it.
on base yet today because the Cubs are getting shellacked by the Pirates at the moment. Down 9-1.
I had that specially placed somewhere. I'll go put another one.
But Hap has a 63 game straight on base streak against the Pirates. And we'll see if he, in this final at bat, is able to keep the streak going and stretch it to 64. Cubs need to win these contracts, says first. You can't keep an unproductive 40-year-old batting around 205 for $26 million. Yeah, you need to win early on these contracts because that's kind of the way these long-term contracts work, is by the end of them, it's not really the bargain that it was at the beginning. So you definitely want to try to win early. I see BJ Murray. He is going off for Iowa. Him, David Bodie, Brennan Davis have all been crushing the ball in Iowa over the last week. Why would Hoyer give Ian Happ an extension when your minor league system is complete with outfielders? Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense long term. Like, obviously, the Cubs have a ton of outfielders waiting in the wings, but when Hoyer gave Happ that extension, a lot of those outfielders were kind of far from reaching the MLB. You didn't know what Bellinger was going to be yet. You didn't have Bellinger yet.
Right.
You also didn't know what Seiya Suzuki was going to be. I don't blame locking up an above average player. The only problem is since the extension, he hasn't played like an above average player. So you could be mad about him not performing, but don't blame Hoyer for signing him because that made a lot of sense at the time.
This is a big, like, Hap streaks on the line right here.
Yeah, huge at bat. You're down 8, but Ian Happ carries a 63 game on base streak against the Pirates into this one. 0 for 3 today, 2-1 the count.
Like, this is one of those opportunities here where at least we could get the streak. We could keep the streak alive.
Happ flies that one foul. 2-2 the count. 2 outs.
It's the game. It's the game within the game.
Yeah, this is our World Series in today's ball game.
You think Porter Hodge gets his debut in the 9th?
I think it'd be dumb not to. Like, if he's on like good enough rest, you might as well put him out there. That way he gets some low leverage debut. Also, Ian Happ should have walked in that first inning. I don't think that was a strike. Remember, the catcher dropped it. We shouldn't even be talking about the on base streak right now. The 3-2, Happ pops it foul.
Do you think these guys? You think these guys know that streak's going?
I think it's definitely talked about. I think Happ definitely knew coming in, but I don't know if it's on any of their minds right now because they're just getting crushed, you know?
Yeah, like the Pirates.
Oh, maybe. Ian Happ calls timeout. They might. I mean, I don't know if like some of the young guys buy into it, but some of the guys who have been there for a while, like O'Neal Cruz or Brian Reynolds, definitely know, like, man, this guy kills us every time we play him.
You're like, how's this happening?
And the payoff pitch.
Pretty insane.
Ball 4, 64 games in a row.
What is it, 54?
64 now.
64 straight games the guy's been on base against the Pirates. That's insane.
It's they showed a graphic yesterday. I don't remember who the other players were on it, but he was like the third or fourth longest streak against a particular team ever.
Man, I'd love to know who had the most.
I'll look it up. Most consecutive games on base first team.
I didn't even know that was a stat they kept, but it makes sense. Now that you can it's so easy to do stats, like.
Yeah.
There was a time when guys would have to keep all these stats by hand.
I know. I can't imagine some of these like deep nuggets being involved.
Can you imagine Chris Kampka back then? Like, how did he do his job?
Bellinger takes outside.
Whoa.
I thought that was a ball.
Because it was. He's like, look, buddy, you guys are down 9-1.
I got dinner reservations today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I can't find the graphic, and I can't find it looking it up, but I know that 64 number is correct. Hap on base 64 times. Ball 4, bases loaded.
What if they did that thing where they started walking everybody
again? I was just
again?
going to say, I know they're down 8, but wouldn't it be crazy if the Pirates started doing that thing where they stopped remembering how to throw strikes and they walk 6 straight guys, and then the next guy, gets a 2-run hit, and then all of a sudden it's 9-9? Wouldn't that be fun?
I think that the problem is that we got so many guys that aren't playing right now. That I don't know that we have the guys in the lineup that could come back with this, but I think the regular team could do it.
Yeah, I mean, you probably needed to score more than 1 run in the 7th to kind of just keep chipping away. But listen, if Morel hits a grand slam here, it's 9-5. You still need 4 more runs.
And I think you're better off just getting base hits.
Right. I had an old baseball coach that said unless it ties the game or is a go-ahead, home runs kill rallies because it puts you back into nobody on base, which is interesting, and I think it's kind of true.
That. Yeah.
But here you are 9-1, another walk, maybe a single, 2-run score, another walk. Just keep the traffic on the base paths, and who knows what could happen. But I agree, you need Nico Horner and Seiya Suzuki to be guys that, put the ball in play and drive it. Like Madrigal and Mastroboni, they're rally killers, not rally starters.
You know that if people are healthy, Morel would probably have taken off.
Yeah.
With the toe,
Yeah, he would have been probably out for a few games.
I mean, I know his numbers are dipping a little bit, but I think he's getting better. I see a lot of growth with him.
I do too. The knowledge of the strike zone has been much better. And see, that was a ball. That was a good take. It obviously got called a strike. We're getting the end of game type of treatment from the umpires, but 1-2 the count to Morel. He takes ball 2.
I mean, this guy is trying to walk in some runs.
Yeah. And he's getting helped by the umpire.
I know.
2-2, Morel yanks it foul.
Are you one of the people that feel like Morel reminds you of Javi Baez?
Yes.
See, I don't. I don't think his swing is nearly as violent.
Morel into the gap.
There we go.
That'll score a couple. Hap around third. He's in. And it'll be second and third with 2 outs, 9-3.
Yeah, I think you got to. Now you get a base hit. Get these guys in.
It's Michael Busch up to bat here. Also, the Pirates burned their 3 best relievers yesterday in Aroldis Chapman, Odell, I can't remember how his name goes, but he pitched the 8th. And then Bednar, they all pitched yesterday. But all right, it's 9-3. Morel with another hit. He's got 2 hits today. And that'll be it for the Pirate pitcher.
4th double for Morel.
Cubs have some life here all of a sudden.
You got to give this team credit. We've talked about it before. They don't quit, man. I mean, like they play the game the right way. And I give David Ross credit too. His team's played the right way too.
Yeah, I mean they both Ross and Council have managed teams that tend to have just a lot of fight.
I mean, this is certainly frustrating. But just the fact that they're out there grinding it away gives you heart that there's a lot more coming from this team when they get healthy.
For sure. Let's see who's coming in to pitch here for the Pirates.
Sorry for eating, guys, but I got to do a game tonight, so.
All right, 9-3. How are you guys in the comments? How are you feeling? Do the Cubs have a shot here? 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. Michael Busch batting. Get into the part of the lineup that gets a little bit dicey right after Busch. You go a little Mastroboni, Madrigal, Pete Crow, Amaya there. But you do have Wisdom and Suzuki on the bench. And if it is Chapman coming in, he's a lefty. No, it looks like they're bringing in a righty here.
I like Wisdom in that role, though, that hitting lefty role.
I love him there. I also think Suzuki, I know he's supposed to be off today, but if you need him, he can come in and pitch. But it looks like it's going to be Hunter Stratton. 19 games so far for the Pirates this year, a 3.98 ERA. He's got a very low walk rate. He's allowed 2 homers, though. And we'll see if the Cubs can keep the rally going. It's 9-3. They've scored 1 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th here so far. Michael Busch up to bat. And the pitch, Busch takes a little up out of the zone for a strike.
There are too many of these. The guy misses too many damn pitches.
They said he's the most pitcher-friendly umpire in the MLB. And I believe it after watching this. Another one for a strike. Neither of those really looked like good pitches to me.
Pretty ridiculous.
And the 0-2, ball 1.
If you were an umpire, would you be a pitcher umpire or a hitter's umpire?
Probably hitter's umpire. Ooh, come on. I didn't even think Busch checked his swing there. But I guess that'll do it for the 8th. To the 9th we go. Cubs get 2 back. Make it a little bit more respectable. Not quite enough. And to the 9th we go.
Yeah, 9-3. Home run by Amaya. 2-run double by Morel. How frustrated do you think Craig Counsell is with all these injuries? And do you think that this is an issue with the Cubs' strength and conditioning, or do you think this is just a baseball issue right now?
Yeah, we've talked of it. I think it's a mix of a baseball issue with just some bad luck. I don't think the Cubs are doing anything wrong in terms of the way they're training or developing these guys, where that they get hurt all the time. Injuries around the league are up, but I also think like it's not even the Cubs' best players only. It's the guys you bring up for a week. Like everybody's getting hurt right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope it just means that when you get to July and August and September, you're a team with a lot of health.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I mean, I'm just thinking about it right now. The entire outfield except Tachman's been hurt.
Yeah.
That started the season.
And the whole middle infield.
The whole middle infield. Your two Gold Glovers are out right now. Mm-mm-mm. It's just unbelievable.
Your third baseman, Morel, has been dinged up a few times. Wisdom opened the year on the injured list. Paul Skenes, the first rookie since 1920 with 10 strikeouts and no hits allowed versus the Cubs.
Dude, Paul Skenes looked like Justin Verlander today. He really did.
He was great, and I think this won't be the last time he looks like that.
It's just honestly, it's the movement that's just it's crazy how good the movement is.
Interesting. The Cubs go with Hector Neris here for the 9th. I guess you hope it's a stress-free inning because you'd like to use both Leiter and Neris tomorrow if you need them. I would have thought this would be a good opportunity for Porter Hodge as well, but to be fair, Neris, because of all these shutouts recently, hasn't pitched a whole lot lately, similar to Leiter Jr., so you got to get these guys work sometimes, but it's always tough in a game that feels out of reach to burn a guy that you definitely need when you're in a close game.
Right. No, I agree with you. I think one of the toughest things is trying to manage a bullpen, you know?
For sure. I think Craig would agree with you.
I mean, anybody.
2-1 against Connor Joe, who's got another 2 hits today and flies that one foul.
I love this one. Heart attack Hector.
Yeah, believe it or not, it was actually Hayden Wesneski who told the reporters that they on the team call him Heart Attack Hector.
Yeah.
And Mark said just now he's the luckiest pitcher in MLB. Like, statistically, he is the luckiest pitcher. He's given up so many base runners and hard contact and gotten away with it time and time again.
I think it's because nothing really gets him rattled, you know?
Yeah, he's definitely comfortable in jams.
You know, Javier Assad's good in jams.
And Connor Joe knocks his 3rd hit of the ball game into left
Who
field.
is this guy? Connor Joe.
Hey, the dude is something else against the Cubs.
Who are the biggest Cubs killers you remember? Obviously, for me, it's Albert Pujols. God, he just killed us.
Yeah, Pujols, Braun.
Oh, God, Braun, yeah.
McCutcheon a little bit, honestly. Feel like Starling Marte always hits us well. Joey Votto. Pete Alonso crushes us. Bryce Harper hits us well. Connor Joe.
It's a Freddy's burger, Matt. We went a little long today. Gary Gaetti. Oh, I remember Gary Gaetti.
What time do the Smokies play tonight, Mick?
7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central. This is
2-1 grounded foul. Everybody's more interested in the burger than the 9-3 game we got going on.
I don't blame you. I'm sorry to eat with you guys here. When we do this when I'm at home, I'll drink beer with you guys.
And another one fouled off. Neris working very slow for a 6-run game.
Right. And for a pitch clock.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Gonzalez has a pair of hits. Hendricks gave up 11 hits today.
Yeah, we talked about it. If you guys are just getting here, we think that might be Turk Wendell. Sorry. They're coming out. What's my favorite beer? Man, I like any kind of hazy IPA.
See, I'm not a big IPA guy. I like Corona, Modelo. Those are usually my go-tos. At the game, if I go to the Cubs game, I've been getting Michelobes. They have those on tap. Those are okay.
The Michelob Ultra?
Yes. Ripped down the left field line, but foul off the bat of Gonzalez.
I like the Goose Island at the game. You know?
Yeah. That one flown to left field, and Happ makes a diving grab. See, I don't know what it is right now. Pete Armstrong looks like he could get to any of these balls and decides not to because he doesn't want to call off these veterans. And then it leads to a bunch of weird looking plays. Like, look, Happ looks over and he's, all right, fine, I'll dive for it. And he dives and catches the ball. But, like, every time a catch is made, Pete Crow's right there.
It's amazing.
So why not just call those guys off and go chase everything down? That's what Louis Robert does for the Sox.
I don't think he's there yet.
I think it's going to lead to some miscues because you've got 2 guys pulling up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to just one guy going out and getting it. We might see something like that. And a fly ball. Shallow left. Happ coming in. And he makes the catch. Busy inning for Ian Happ.
Two down.
Two outs, top 9. Pirates on top 9-3. Hector Neris in there already at 18 pitches. So, for all intents and purposes, he's done until Sunday. Probably won't pitch tomorrow. They always say you need 1 hour of rest for every pitch you throw.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why, a starter pitches every 5th day because 100 pitches averages about 5 days worth of rest.
I never heard that before. That makes sense. I mean, who told you that? Your coach?
Yeah, my high school bullpen coach, or my high school pitching coach, I should say. I wasn't even a pitcher, but I remember him saying that however many pitches you throw, competitive pitches you throw, that's how many hours of rest you need until you can throw more competitive pitches. Obviously, the guys do like bullpens and side work. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, but I love like when you hear like the Japanese players talk about like rest and and all that stuff, and it's a big part of their pitching.
Yeah, or even like the minor leagues, like you're off every single Monday, and so you end up getting about 6 days worth of rest. Same with in Japan, they get about 6 days worth of rest instead of 5 days rest. So that's a little bit of an adjustment when you get to the big leagues as well.
Has Suzuki pitched every 5th day?
Imanaga.
Imanaga, yeah.
He got. I'm checking right now. on days of rest. Let's see.
Because I'm sure in a perfect world, they would have loved to have managed that better.
He's had 1 game on 4 days of rest, 5 games on 5 days of rest, and 2 games on 6 days of rest.
That's probably part of their plan.
Yeah, I also think because some of the rainouts and off days and then playing 16 in a row kind of jumbled that up, but they definitely won't throw him early ever.
No.
It's kind of funny. I'm looking at his numbers based on what pitch he's throwing. Once he gets over 50 pitches, the batting average jumps to 260. Which is, I mean, that's another thing, like, third time through.
Yeah. Magical, House Money Productions. He did. Thanks for the super chat. He played today.
0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. He's going to lead off, or I think bat second here in the bottom of the 9th. Cubs down 6.
Yeah, Masterboni, Magical, and Pete Crow Armstrong. Let's get the rally going.
Yes, sir. I'll do a little rally cap. Cubs down 6, trying to put together a miraculous comeback here against the Pirates. Stratton's out there for another inning of work.
Do you like how he screams in his glove?
I think it's a little weird. Just a little. Masterboni gets things going here. Takes upstairs. Keep an eye on the umpires again, too, because I think we're going to see some get me out type of calls.
Right. Get this thing over with type stuff.
Yeah, we might. Two 2-0 to the Cubs shortstop. He's been the starting shortstop for the last 4 games now that Nico Horner's been scratched with hamstring tightness.
Are you ready for this? History made. Skenes fan 7 batters allows 0 hits in 6 innings. I think that's the first time that's ever happened by a rookie in his second start.
Wow.
I'm going to find the exact thing. I had it and I lost it. Now I can't find it.
2-2's the count to Masterboni.
Oh, Skeen fans first 7 batters. That set the Pirates record.
Ah.
And it ties Jacob deGrom for the longest run by a rookie in MLB history.
Yeah, I mean, very impressive stuff out of Skenes today. Full count. Masterboni trying to start this rally, get on base. Cubs need a 7 spot, so need some help as well. Maybe an error, a few generous calls going their way. And swing and a miss from Masterboni, his 3rd strikeout of the ball game. It's the worst 3 guys to have up, or part of the lineup to have up. Here's Madrigal.
It's all the guys who are like the backups.
Yeah, with the exception of Pete Crow, you go Masterboni, Madrigal, then Pete Crow, and then Amaya, who have been not great.
All right, let's play. Let's put money down. Weak ground ball to short or second.
Those are really the only 2 options.
Well, strikeout, but he doesn't really strike out. So yeah, you're right.
I'd be shocked if he flew out here. Oh, and there he goes, popping one up. No way. All right, he flew out.
All right, popped out, fouled out. He went the wrong way with the out this time. All right, final batter, unless Pete can get on.
Pete has put the ball in play all 3 times.
Hollywood Pete.
Pete Crow 0 for 3. I think the Cubs only have 3 hits today, maybe 4. 2
They
from
have 3.
Morel.
Oh, they have 4. Yeah, 3, 4, and 1 for them. 9, 15, and 0.
Yep. And Pete Crow fouls that one off. 0-2 the count.
I'm very interested to watch the post game. I want to hear what Kyle says. I want to hear what Craig Counsell says. I hate when Marquee is there. You guys know anywhere else you can watch the post game press conferences besides Marquee, because they keep cutting it off.
And Pete Crow takes right down the middle for strike 3. And that'll do it.
That'll do it.
We're now 2-2 on the watch parties. We got to get back on track, Mick.
We will. Next Friday day game. Hopefully it'll be better. But thank all of you guys for hanging out with us for the entire 3 hours of talking baseball. Tomorrow morning we'll be back. Make sure you check out the Porter Hodge video. The newest Cub just got called up today. Something breaks, we'll jump on it. I'm guessing that the Cubs are going to have to either put Nico in or make a move there. You know, what's going on with Dansby? And is this it for Kyle Hendricks? I mean, I think it's a fair question. So We'll talk about all that stuff tomorrow, if not before. Any final thoughts?
I feel bad for Kyle Hendricks. Paul Skenes is really good. And you got to get back on track tomorrow.
Yep. I still love Kyle. I always will. Fantastic guy. And we will keep an eye on everything here and talk to you in the morning. See you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. And go Cubs.
Go Cubs.
Hey, I'm not going to did it end the stream?